didn't look like that yesterday. Aqueduct Racetrack in South Ozone Park, New York. A lot of snow overnight and this morning, so racing's been canceled. So now what? How about shifting our focus to Oaklawn Park in Hot Springs, Arkansas? The conditions much more agreeable, and the racing is about to heat up. We're talking Kentucky Derby qualifying racing. That's why Newgrange is there. Southern California Invader, 2-1 morning line favorite in the Southwest Stakes. Should he win, he's supposed to earn 10 Kentucky Derby qualifying points, but he can't earn those points. Why? We'll explain. No such problems for the local colt Dash Attack, undefeated in 2 starts. Impressive winner of the Smarty Jones Stakes. Trained by Kenny McPeak, McPeak has never won a Kentucky Derby, but has several prospects this year. And Dash Attack's jockey David Cohen rode in his first Derby last year. What was that like? How good does he think Dash Attack is? Cohen sits down with our Hall of Famer, Gary Stevens. Very fluid edition of America's Day at the Races, as always, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. I don't get it. Why was racing canceled at Aqueduct this afternoon? Remnants of a bomb cyclone. I'm like an expert on bomb cyclones now. Welcome, everyone, to the Big A. I'm Lafitte Pinkai. So, yeah, like 8 inches of snow overnight and this morning. Like, this isn't outdoor sport and everything, but come on. Today's program's been canceled, so as the Sunday card at Aqueduct. As for the racing at Oaklawn Park, this is one of the biggest days of their 66-day meet. Still ahead, like a sprint race you don't want to miss. The King Cotton featuring 2 of the fastest horses on the grounds. Hollis and Nashville, the rematch, and the Kentucky Derby prep race. The main event, the Southwest Stakes, with a big field. Dangle that kind of purse in January. You're going to get a big field. 12 deep, $750,000 purse. 17 points available. 10 to the winner, unless your name is Newgrange, number 10, the 2-1 morning line favorite, as I'm joined by New York Racing Association analyst Maggie Wolfendale. Maggie, let's start with Newgrange, and we'll get to why he's ineligible for Derby points in a moment. But just as an individual, how good of a prospect are we talking about?
He gets the test today, Lafitte. This is a horse that was uncontested on the lead last time out. John Velasquez got to dictate things under his own terms, in which were very soft fractions for a Santa Anita 2-turn mile race. 24-2, 48, nearly 49. That's a walk in the park for this horse. So, of course, he was able to pick up and accelerate away from this field, winning by 2 3/4 lengths over his other highly regarded stablemate in Rockefeller. He does not get to do that today, Lafitte. He is posted towards the outside with a somewhat short run to that first turn at Oaklawn, going the mile and the 16th today. And there's a lot of other speed in here, Lafitte. This horse is going to get tested. I mean, there's a speed from the rail, there's speed all over this field. So this is the real test for Newgrange. And I don't know about you, but I would just like to be Kenny McPeak at this point, because we don't have to worry about Baffert in the Derby.
Not just, and we'll speak with Kenny McPeak later in the show. As for Newgrange's trainer, Bob Baffert, highly decorated, highly scrutinized Hall of Famer. Baffert is currently serving a 2-year suspension issued by Churchill Downs. He is prohibited from entering horses in the Kentucky Derby, running horses at Churchill properties, nor can any Baffert-trained runner earn points in Derby qualifiers. This is the result of a possible medication violation following Medina Spirit's Derby win last spring. Proceedings ongoing. The Kentucky Horse Racing Commission has scheduled a hearing on the 7th of February, so perhaps we'll have some clarity before long regarding that particular situation. But Bob Baffert and all the success he's had at Oaklawn over the years, and he does have Newgrange coming up later on in the Southwest. Today's schedule, the late pick 5 about to get underway at Oaklawn. The schedule brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 9th race is the Southwest. 10th race is the King Cotton. Also, with Aqueduct canceling, weather's a little bit nicer at Tampa Bay Downs. You'll see races 9 and 10 right here. And, of course, before we get to the live racing,
It's usually my house, Lafitte.
that's look at what's happened there. Inhabitable. No paddock reports from Maggie this afternoon. $200 deposit match bonus. You're going to use that promo code BONUS200. Join us here at NYRABets.com. Bet from anytime, anywhere, NYRABets.com. To the live racing we go. Hot Springs, Arkansas, race number 7. 3-year-olds going 3/4 of a mile, field of 10 here. A good purse. John Velasquez is on number 2 in Salito. The Hall of Famer could have a very productive afternoon. Here's what he's done thus far. He hasn't won just yet, but he does ride in Salito, a contender. Divine Armor is next. New Grange, the favorite in the Southwest. Collusion Illusion, major contender in the King Cotton Stakes. Contender after contender after contender. But John Velasquez can't, be in 2 places at once as we welcome in Hall of Fame jockey Gary Stevens. Gary, how did Johnny V wind up at Oaklawn today? We see his mounts there, but also could have been riding some very live mounts in some big lucrative races at Gulfstream Park on the Pegasus undercard as well.
Well, Lafitte, I'll just say the same reason that he moved his tack to Southern California. He's been riding pretty much first call for Bob Baffert. They've had a very successful opening to the Santa Anita meet out there, winning big race after big race. And he's been his go-to guy here for quite some time over the last couple of years when he shipped horses into New York. He even brought Johnny out to ride specific horses out in California. So to me, it's simple math. $750,000. Bob Baffert keeps all of his options open for all of his top 3-year-olds. And he always says, I send the one that's doing the best at the time. Well, that happens to be New Grange. And I think that they're hedging their bet a little bit as far as agent Ron Anderson and Johnny V, hoping that legal matters can take charge and hopefully New Grange will somehow wind up getting the points and wind up in the Kentucky Derby. But even if they don't, it's still $750,000, and Johnny's got a lot of other good shots as these big races move forward today, Lafitte.
Gary, thanks so much. Good problems for any jockey to have. Tough decisions for an agent. Ron Anderson, super agent, representing John Velasquez, doesn't miss often. We'll see if Velasquez can get his first win of the afternoon here, Maggie. Another serious contender in this maiden sprint, number 5 favorite, Outlaw. Another top-class rider, Ricardo Santana. Favorite Outlaw who did everything but win in his debut.
Well, they both come out of that same race on December 31st here, Lafitte. Now, in Salito, number 2 in here, he's your current second choice. John Velasquez is aboard. And what I think they're hitting, Johnny's hitting at like nearly 50% at Santa Anita right now.
That'll get it done.
Yeah. In Salito, caught an absolute flyer out of the gate first time out. I mean, this horse was easily in front at the very first call. He's a big, good-looking, strapping son of Connect. You would think, given the pedigree, that he would be that quick and looking at him in his physicality, but he was first time out. Now, favorite Outlaw, as you said, ran very, very well in defeat. He didn't break all that quickly from that inside post. Now he's posted more towards the outside in the middle of the field today. He found his stride quite quickly, so I would not be surprised if we do see more speed from favorite Outlaw, giving Insolito a little bit of company up front. Now, he did want to lug in slightly down the stretch. Could it be a pronounced problem or habit? We don't know. He's only making his second start. Could it have been greenness and he gets over it second time out here? Absolutely. Now, coming out of that same race, we saw the 5th horse come back, albeit to win a maiden 50, but did earn a 75 Beyer speed figure. So it is shaping up, at least on the Beyer scale, to be a fast race too. These are the main 2 you want.
Favorite Outlaw, 6-5. You were looking at Royal King, first-time starter, cold on the board. Dash Attacks jockey David Cohen in the saddle, and this maiden sprint for 3-year-olds, $84,000 purse. Contender towards the outside. Your thoughts on Slim Man, number 10, and there goes that team again. Florent Giroux, Brad Cox, they'll be teaming up 4 times in the next 5 races, including in the Southwest Stakes.
Slim Man had trouble in his debut back on December 4th. Now, on the first view, it looks as though it's a slower race. He was blocked briefly in the stretch after sitting off the pace. Once he was clear and straight, he ran on well. The winner came back to run 3rd with an 81 Beyer, so improving pressure, his figure quite a bit. I thought number 8, Improbable Journey, was a bit interesting too. Has 2 bullet workouts heading into here for Larry Jones, off a bit of a comeback, getting Lasix for this 3-year-old bow.
Improbable Journey steps forward. We're all set. As we march towards the Southwest Stakes, Vic Stauffer standing by with the call. 3-year-old sprinting, maiden special weight conditions here, the 7th, live from Oaklawn.
Paid in full. 2 more now. Favorite Outlaw and Slim Man. They're at the post. They're off. Favorite Outlaw wins the break from Royal King in second. Insolito's on the move. These three are quick. Improbable Journey is also close up in fourth. Then Slim Man, Skyline, Driven One, and Paid in Full. Island Music second to last, and the trailer is Unstable Prince. It is Insolito up the backstretch, 3/4 of a length in front of Favorite Outlaw in second. Improbable Journey is 3 deep in third and 2 from the front. Royal King stays fourth at the rail and 2.5 off the lead. Slim Man has 3.5 lengths to make up. He's 2 in front of Paid in Full, Driven One, and Island Music, who's on the move. Skyline has 12 lengths to make up. Unstable Prince is the trailer. Many chances, top of the stretch. Favorite Outlaw between horses. Insolito at the rail. Insolito's ahead in front. Favorite Outlaw is second. Improbable Journey has a chance. 3 deep in third. So does Slim Man, 4 deep. Final furlong. Favorite Outlaw has forged to the front. It is Favorite Outlaw now 2 in front. Slim Man moves into second, then comes at the rail and Insolito. Favorite Outlaw is clear. Slim Man is second. Insolito will try to hold third. Favorite Outlaw in front. Favorite Outlaw won by 2.5. Slim Man was second. Insolito third.
No late ambush this time. Favorite Outlaw graduates in his second career start for North America's all-time leading trainer, Steve Asmussen, Ricardo Santana, leading jock, leading trainer at Oaklawn thus far.
Well, the couple is back together. The marriage is on. As Ricardo Santana teaming up with Steve Asmussen, who he had so much success with, I mean, throughout his career, but especially up at Saratoga this year. And
5 grade ones.
Incredible meet, and Steve becoming the winningest trainer in North American history as well. Now, this guy tipped his hand completely at the start. Lafitte broke on top today. Insolito had to be used a bit by John Velasquez to get to the lead. And look, a favorable Outlaw finished in front of him the first time they met. He did it even more so this time.
He's an expensive colt, $350,000 purchase for the Leblongs. Looking at his pedigree, Maggie, like what is he cut out to do? Buying McLean's music out of a storm boot mare, moving forward. He has talent. Where do you think he will thrive moving forward?
He looks smaller as a physical, Lafitte. McLean's music, I do prefer on the shorter side of ground covered, so I think this is what he wants to do. I think he is a sprinter, and we'll see. He has run 2 pretty quick races in only 2 starts.
You're like master of horse flesh, and when you're in the paddock and seeing these runners to throw up close and personal, how much of a challenge is it just doing it off a television monitor?
Oh, it's so much more challenging. I will tell you what, they often look better on TV than what they actually do up close and personal. You could just kind of, you're funny. Was that because like makeup or something? I don't know. Filters.
Love the smell of makeup in the morning.
Filters. This horse, you could tell he's a smaller type. Obviously, you know, it's all relative to what they're running to, but he's quick, he's determined, and that's what you want in these racehorses. And the McLean's musics, I mean, he is just, I think, one of the more underrated sires, standing for $50,000, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see that go up in
No
future
question.
years.
For trainer Steve Asmussen, he'll be represented by Costa Terra in the Southwest Stakes. Has 2 3-year-olds running, also Classic Moment. And here, Asmussen, Santana back at it again. Another victory at Oaklawn Park. We'll have those results. And when we come back, yeah, we know it's early, still January, but right now, trainer Kenny McPeak, as Maggie noted, is at the center of this year's Derby conversation. It's talent and volume, and today, it's that colt's turn. Dash Attack, undefeated Smarty Jones winner, Southwest contender. Kenny McPeak joins us next.
Line of legendary Claiborne stallion Danzig. And his second dam is full sister to Kentucky Derby winner Monarchos. After winning the Oaklawn Handicap, Silver State defeated Knicks Go in the Grade 1 Metropolitan Handicap. On the board in 12 of 14 starts from ages 2 to 4, his career included a 6-race winning streak. Grade 1 winner Silver State, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Gorgeous day in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races. As always, brought to you in part by Run Happy, champion sprinter. Won the Breeders' Cup Sprint at the age of 3. Always raced medication-free. Run Happy never raced at Oaklawn. Fans would have loved him there. Chalk players loving favorite Outlaw at Oaklawn this afternoon. 3-2 delivers as he graduates in his second career start.
Yeah, over Slim Man, who I would think improved in his second start as well after a bit of a trouble trip first time out. But favorite Outlaw broke really sharply today, sat just off the pace set by Insolita, who wound up third. But favorite Outlaw looks as though he might be a sprinter with a bit of a future.
One to watch moving forward. Maggie, we move forward. Race 8, Oaklawn. From a sprint to a route, mile and a 16th. Older horses, scratch numbers 4 and 10. Current favorite Fan Club with Laurent Giroux, 5-2 with about 25 minutes to post. Well, as mentioned at the top of the show, again, this is one of the biggest days of the year at Oaklawn with the 57th running of the Southwest Stakes. Cue the animation. When you see this, you know the racing is serious. It is the America's Best Racing's race of the week, the Southwest Stakes. A little bit later on, big field, big purse, 17 points available to most. Number 10, Newgrange, 2-1 morning line favorite, but not Derby point eligible as explained. Maggie, if you had to make a Kentucky Derby selection like today, who would it be?
A Kenny McPeak horse?
He's saying that because he's listening.
No, I actually, and I'm seriously not just saying this because Run Happy has consistently been a sponsor of our show, but Smile Happy. I love the way that he has finished up in both of his efforts, going a mile and a 16th, including that Kentucky Jockey Club. And 2, his workouts are hinting at the same thing. Despite being by a champion sprinter, this horse hints at the classic distances are going to be what he relishes.
For McPeak, Smile Happy, 'tis the bomb, rattle and roll. Dash attack. Kenny McPeak joining us live from Oaklawn Park. Kenny, thanks for taking the time. How exciting is this? I mean, it's only January, but to have this many potential.
You beat me to it. It's only January. We don't need to get in any hurry. We don't need to get too excited. I've been in years back. We had Harlan's Holiday and Repent, and then Sarava ended up being the horse that won the Classic race. So a lot can happen, and we're not going to count any. Chickens before they hatch. There's a lot. There's three full months, and there's a lot can happen. And fingers crossed. These colts that we've got. They have every opportunity to show how good they are.
Kenny, there are right ways to kick off a new year, and then there's the way you did it. Could you walk our fans from like sunrise to sunset, what your New Year's Day was like this year?
Well, the cool thing about Dash winning that day was we raised him. And, to have bred him and raised him, foaled him, and watched him progress has been really great. And, we came into that race kind of with an open mind. The expectations weren't that high. He was 7 or 8 to 1. So for him to win, New Year's Day, it was a great way to start the year.
Kenny, Maggie Wolfendale here too, and Dash Attack, as we are checking out his win in the Smarty Jones just now. Maybe the main criticism has been that in his 2 starts, it's been a track with moisture in it for this son of Munnings, and as you race and breed under Magdalena Racing, what are your thoughts about a fast track today and a little bit of an increase in distance?
Well, he's a big, strong horse, and he's handled the off tracks because he can grind through a heavier surface. I think that last race here at Oaklawn was a pretty slow, tiring racetrack, and the pace of the race set up well for us. And David did a good job timing the finish. And certainly with a fast racetrack, it's going to be different. But you can't knock a horse for anything if he's still unbeaten. So we're gonna try to keep him that way today. And I don't have any problem with the fast racetrack. I think he'll handle everything fine. He has up to now.
That roster of 3-year-olds, a deep one, Kenny. Smile Happy, Kentucky Jockey Club winner. What can you tell us about him? What are the plans moving forward?
Well, we're a little ahead of schedule. His last 2 works have been super. He is going to be pointed towards the Risen Star, and we're working hard to try to keep a couple of these colts separated, of course. And Tiz the Bomb's going to go on the Holy Bull because it's a 10-point race, and he has no points. But Smile Happy, he's got some points, and I think the Risen Star timing is going to be really good for him. And maybe he'll come back in Louisiana Derby. Maybe he'll go someplace else. So that's just a next step. But right now he's going to get a couple of more breezes, and he should be set.
Kenny, you mentioned Tiz the Bomb, too, training well after coming out of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, a second-place effort there. Now, he's a horse that most of his success has come on the turf, and he's bred, got a top and bottom for the turf as well. But his workouts on the dirt have been good, and he broke his maiden quite impressively on the dirt. Talk about the decision to switch him back and put him on the Kentucky Derby Trail.
Well, I think that there's limited options on the grass for a straight 3-year-old colt this time of year. What is there a high-level race for straight 3-year-olds? No, not really. He's worked well on the dirt. He handles everything fine. Extremely intelligent horse, an easy horse to be around. He was very unlucky in November because he had a little scratch on his leg that was giving him a little trouble, and we made the decision to take him out of the Kentucky Jockey Club, or you might very well be talking about him. So maybe him getting out of there was Smile Happy's good fortune, but at the same time, they're both nice horses, and just thrilled to have them in the barn, and whole lineup's kind of interesting season for sure.
Kenny, Rattle and Roll, Grade 1 Breeders' Futurity winner, missed the Breeders' Cup, unfortunately. Read a quote where you said, like don't write him off in terms of the Derby. Where are you with Rattle and Roll?
Well, today was a really, really good breeze out of him. I mean, he's just getting back in gear. He missed a little time. He had a little foot abscess, some issues back in the fall. I decided to stop on him, give him a little extended time. He's grown up. He's bigger and stronger. I do think he's a horse that's kind of a setup horse in that he is more of a deeper closer than maybe some of the other colts we've got. And his work today will lead him into a couple more. And right now, the tentative plan was the the Tampa Bay Derby, but there's a chance that we might opt to the Fountain of Youth and keep him there at Gulfstream. So, this is another good horse that, he's got his Grade 1 and he's got 10 points. More than likely, he'll only get 2 starts going into the Kentucky Derby if all goes as planned. And Mike and Mike and I keep working together to try to keep Smile Happy and Rattle and Roll apart.
Going to be a big story this spring. You're trying to win your first Kentucky Derby. If you see Gary Stevens running around, remind him, if not for him, you're already a Derby winner. He beat your Tejano Run with Thunder Gulch.
Yeah, you're right. Gary, when he rode for me, he always won, too. The first 2 rides he ever had in his career, when I was training, when he was riding for me, the first 2 were stakes wins. And then he rode for me also in Dubai and also in England when we ran Hardbuck in the King George. So we've got some history there. And that Kentucky Derby was kind of a tough one. We've kind of knocked on the door. We've had some nice horses, but have we had the right horse? Who knows? Maybe this is the year. Maybe it's not. This is never easy, as we know.
We will find out in 98 days. Kenny, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it. Best of luck this afternoon with Dash Attack and moving forward.
All right. Thank you all.
Kenny McPeak joining us from Oaklawn Park. It's a long interview because he has a long bench. Again, a long way to go, but some serious talent in terms of 3-year-olds that he's training.
Liffy, and you guys talking about his history with Gary Stevens, and I think it kind of sums up the best thing about Kenny McPeak is that he is not afraid of anyone. He is not afraid to run his horses. We saw it with Swiss Skydiver winning the Preakness 2 years ago. He runs his horses, and I think that makes the game better. He is a trainer that is better for the game.
Kenny McPeak. We're going to learn a lot in the next few weeks. Southwest Stakes today. Next week, Holy Bull, Withers, Robert Lewis. Following week, 98 days and counting until the 148th running of the Kentucky Derby. Kenny McPeak providing us with the perfect segue. He talked about the Tampa Bay Derby. Live look at Tampa Bay Downs here. A 9th race on the Saturday program. $16,000 allowance optional claimer. Field of 9. They have reached the starting gate, Maggie.
We see 8-5 on Ella's My Love. Just the horse with the most back class in here. Lafitte 2 back was in an allowance race at Delaware. The winner came back to win. The 3rd place finisher came back to run well too. this is a horse that just, if she can sniff at any of her previous races, because look, over this summer and fall, she was running low to mid 80 buyer speed figures. Always happens with horses that have girls' names in them. And then I thought the other horse that was a little bit interesting was Swaggy George in here. I just think getting back to 6 will be favorable. I thought ran well, though, in defeat. Will have to get faster. Just won at a little bit of a price, but I do think that Ella's My Love is by far the horse to beat.
Strong contention to the outside. Swaggy George, as Maggie mentioned. Ella's My Love, 8-5 favorite. Second choice, number 3, Scimitar at 3-1. We're all set for the 9th race, live from Tampa Bay Downs.
Swaggy George moving in. 3 more left to load. Decimator, Hypnotic Rhythm, and Ella's My Love will be all set to roll today's 9th. Ella's My Love, Jose Bautista to the outside gate, just about set to go. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Ella's My Love got away well. Weld down toward the inside is quicker, though, and Weld going to go up to assume command. Traffic trouble there for Hypnotic Rhythm, who was up close but now drops out last as Weld leads them up the backstretch. Magical Tail, Mystery Man, Ella's My Love, those 3 line up 2nd through 4th. They're a length and a half in front of it. Down toward the inside, Decimator. Swaggy George is out wide at 6, but only 2.5 off the lead. Then we come back to High Five Cotton Recorder, and after that bad beginning, Hypnotic Rhythm's at the back, but the 9 of them only covered by about 6 lengths as they go through the opening quarter in 23-1. It's Weld, long shot, who takes him into the far turn in front 3/4 of a length to Mystery Man. Decimator looking for room in between horses. Now coming up after this leader is Decimator. Out 4 deep, Ella's My Love. The favorite pushed along, only a length and a half behind, but is caught out 4 deep as they wind around that far turn. Decimator made that move between horses. Weld not packing it in just yet. Going to battle that one to the top of the stretch. Ella's My Love up on the outside. Between horses, Mystery Man. Magical Tail trying to make up some ground is now 5th. Final furlong time now. It's Decimator still there. Weld, Ella's My Love down the outside. Mystery Man looking for room just in behind in 4th. Decimator past the 16th pole. Ella's My Love still has to make up a length in the final 50 yards. It's Decimator there. Decimator going to go on to win it here, a length and a half. Ella's My Love was 2nd. 3rd ended up really close. It's either Weld or Mystery Man. Back in 5th was High Five Cotton.
Back-to-back wins, Decimator, both at Tampa, able to hold off the favorite, Ella's My Love, in the 9th race, Tampa Bay Downs.
A horse making only his 2nd start on the dirt, Lafitte, and he seems to like it, the dirt there at Tampa. The son of the big beast. I have a Dixieland band mare, so why not? He should, actually, and really compliments his win last time out in a softer spot, the 9-2 for 25, and gets this win here in this allowance.
Really good sprinter in New York, the big beast, yes?
Yeah, Tony Dutrow. He was aptly named, too. He was big, and he could be cantankerous at times to handle.
It's a cool name.
Yeah.
He has the kind of horse that can garner that kind of following. The big beast and the sire of Decimator, the winner in the 9th race, Tampa Bay Downs. Little breezy at Tampa Bay Downs. Maggie and I will be discussing Tom Brady's retirement later on in the show, how it'll affect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, some of the free agent quarterbacks they could go after moving forward.
We will? I was not prepared for that,
It's like
Lafitte.
a 15-minute segment on what the Bucs do now, Maggie, and which quarterback will fit that offense best.
Lafitte, before children, I was all about football and horse racing. I only have time for one sport now.
Blame the kids.
Yep,
Blame
that's what I do.
the kids. No Tampa Bay any further. He's retired. David Cohen is not retired. He's on the attack, literally. Dash Attacks jockey David Cohen. Wouldn't be the first big race he's won. For Kenny McPeak, Golden Ticket, Dead Heat, Travers winner. A decade ago, Cohen sits down with Gary Stevens, and you get to eavesdrop.
The sun shines bright on Caraconte. His first crops of racing age are showing brilliance on the racetrack with a high percentage of stakes winners. His versatility is evidenced by winners on all surfaces across the globe. And his offspring are lighting up the sales ring. With his biggest and best quality of books in the pipeline, the sun shines bright on this value sire. Caraconte, standing at Gainesway.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Liam's Map, a two-time Grade 1 winner with 6 consecutive triple buyers, including a 114 to win the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. He's already taking the lead as a sire, with Grade 1 winners Basin, Wicked Whisper, and Colonel Liam, and graded stakes winners like Rushy, plus multiple 6-figure yearling sales and 2-year-old sales up to $1.2 million. Proven on the track, proven in the sales ring. Liam's Map, only at Lane's End.
This season at Oaklawn, we've got more of everything. More of the top thoroughbreds in the world. More days of live racing. And the largest purses in our history. All at a completely reimagined Oaklawn. Come be a part of this historic season at Arkansas's only casino resort.
Big night of racing in Houston. That's not Houston. No bomb cyclones detected. Sam Houston Race Park. Tomorrow night, you're going to 6 stakes races. 2 of the graded variety, and you're going to see 4 of them right here on Fox Sports 2, Maggie, and we'll see this filly on Fox Sports 2. Pauline's Pearl, she is the 6-5 morning line favorite in the Houston Ladies Classic. Pauline's Pearl here, wide but in charge in the Zia Park Oaks.
Lafitte, I have a little trouble believing the 96 buyer that she posted here.
Why?
But because I just don't think it was a very strong field. None of the horses that have come back to run have recreated those figures, and they didn't prior to this either. She does power away from the field quite nicely. And she posted that as a late 3-year-old. So there's still some more upside with her. But on the flip side, I mean, she just runs one of her previous races, such as the Remington Park Oaks, then she's a major player in here once again. This is her first start against some older company, which is always maybe a little bit of a challenge. She does project to sit the right kind of trip, but I just thought there was some interesting others in here besides just taking a short price on her, including number 2, Audrey's Time, for trainer Neil Pessin. I thought her effort last time in the stake at Fairgrounds was good enough here to be a major player, beating another horse that she faces in this field in Velvet Crush.
Good field, $400,000 purse. Like a fun night of racing. Some very good racing tomorrow at Sam Houston.
I was at Sam Houston once. Guess who won the Ladies Classic that year? A couple years ago. Multiple Grade 1 winner.
Memory's not what it used to be.
Midnight Bizou.
That's worth the price of admission.
That was very much. We drove from Fairgrounds across to Sam Houston. My husband Tom had one running in the John B. Conley, also a feature on the night, usually the Mike Maker Classic. Really enjoyed the evening there at Sam Houston.
Terrific night of thoroughbred racing, Sam Houston Race Park. Live coverage right here, America's Evening at the Races on Fox Sports 2. Back to Oaklawn. Southwest undercard rolls on. 9th race here. Southwest is the 9th. This is the 8th. Allowance, older horses running a mile in the 16th, $100,000 purse. This thing is wide open.
So wide open. I thought there were reasons to like horses at big prices in here, including one we'll get to. The 5 at 15-1, Martini Blue. Totally wide open. 3-1 currently on Fan Club. I get it. Did just break his maiden as a newly turned 4-year-old. Looked very good in doing it, though. It was over a muddy sealed track, but has run fast enough races on fast tracks, too. But, you know, sometimes the biggest jump is when you have to face winners for the first time.
There is Fan Club. Can always pick out those Gary and Mary West hot pink colors. The tepid favorite. 3-1. Now, Divine Armor emerging as a 3-1 choice. We'll see him up close and personal for this post parade. 8th race, Oaklawn Park. We start with Palace Coup and David Cohen keeping busy before his Southwest ride on Dash Attack.
This horse is taking money. You know, last time out he was involved in a pace duel with Maya Comet, and this horse had nothing to offer. And Maya Comet is 20-1, and this horse is 4-1?
Maya Comet, she likes to mix it up early.
Yeah, totally. So I just don't get the price disparity on a horse who actually threw it down and finished the race.
Quarterback Dak Texas bred. I'm going to keep my cowboy thoughts to myself, Maggie.
Was affected very much so at the break. This horse down on the rail, the assistant starter was trying to get him to stand up, and they sprung the latch. He was totally unprepared, missing the break, a horse who's usually forwardly placed.
Martini Blue, just one race since last year's Smarty Jones.
This horse was 9-1 third choice against Caddo River. Obviously something happened, coming back at 6 over a sloppy track, not what he wants to do.
Divine Armor, Javon Velasquez riding the Southern California Transplant.
I don't know how much this horse really wants to win. Wire last time, he ships in from the West Coast. He has races that fit, though.
Indy Maj, Ramon Vasquez rides the 7-year-old Great Contender.
I do not like the race this horse comes out of. None of the horses that came back to run have done well.
Fan Club, Florent Giroux, Brad Cox, look out.
As we said it, potent connections, but sometimes jumping in against winners is the hardest thing to do.
Calibrate, Winchell Thoroughbred, Steve Asmussen, Ricardo Santana looking to go back-to-back.
Love that he returns as a new gelding. Wow, he looks fantastic out on the racetrack. He was always a very heavy horse, and he just gave the impression that he was always one that needed lightened up a bit. And with the gelding, probably gets to do that, comes out of some seriously good races. I will forgive him for his turf form, which he didn't run that badly on. And last time out, I just thought, he blew the brake a bit and was beaten by Happy American, who's in very good form right now.
Quality field for the 8th at Oaklawn. Late pick 4 starts here. Post time 4 minutes. Gary Stevens still with us. Gary, we just saw Ricardo Santana on Calibrate. His last 6 months, like the incredible Saratoga, 5 Grade 1 wins. Then the big slump, 80-some-odd rides without a win. Now he's leading rider at Oaklawn. What has Ricardo Santana shown you in the last 6 months?
He's shown me that, he's got confidence in himself. And sometimes, this team of Asmussen and Ricardo Santana, it wasn't a marriage, but it was almost like a marriage. We'll call it a mini separation for a while. Sometimes you need to shake things up. I got to think that when he was taken off of Echo Zulu, it hurt. It hurt a lot. And he's put that behind him. It's opened up some other doors for him. He's riding with more confidence than I've seen him. He's riding for some of the other top trainers here at Oaklawn Park and other racetracks around the United States. And he's put it behind him. And he's riding hard. He's riding with confidence. And he's back riding a lot of horses for Steve Asmussen as he is in here on Calibrate. But I'll put it this way. It's a lot like my relationship with Bobby Franco back in the day. I always knew when I was about to get fired, and he'd give me about a year off and then come back to riding for him. And it didn't feel good, but it was something that I had to live with and something that I got over. And that's what Ricardo Santana is going through and doing right now.
You see it in every sport. George Steinbrenner, Billy Martin, Reggie Jackson, different personalities. The success they've had together, Ricardo Santana, Steve Asmussen, but when there is that kind of slump, Asmussen making some of the changes, Gary mentioning the eventual 2-year-old filly champion. She will be crowned 2-year-old filly champion, Breeders' Cup Juvenile filly winner, and the resolve that Santana had to show, digging deep, finding his confidence, going out there, doing his job, and doing it well.
Well, now, granted, the kind of slump, proverbial slump, did precede the tragedy of Miguel Mena, the tragedy when he was killed a week before the Breeders' Cup. But Ricardo, I'd read, had said that deeply affected him, and I know it did. I mean, I know the two of them were very, very good friends. So riding with a heavy heart and a foggy head never leads to good results. And I think, he just had to take it in stride, put it behind him. Obviously, mourning the death of his friend took some time, and he just seems to be back on all cylinders. And 2, Oaklawn is a place where Ricardo is incredibly confident. The entire town, city limits included, know who he is. So he is the big fish in the little pond. It's not that little a pond, but you know what I mean.
We say that horses aren't machines, neither are the riders. Ricardo Santana Calibrate. You're looking at Indy Maj. Ramon Vasquez takes over for David Cohen riding Palace Coup. This was Indy Maj's most recent race on a fast track. Early December here at Oaklawn, Indy Maj strikes the front at the top of the stretch.
Only to be run down by Tyshawn, who is a respectable runner. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. He's another horse. How much does he really want to do it? He has been consistent in his figures for Robertino Diodoro. It just seems as though Lafitte, he consistently finds somebody to beat him at this level. So again, like I said, I don't love the horses coming out of there. Alleged did not come back to run well. Candy Tycoon, Prodigious Bay, they have not run well in their subsequent starts. So that just leads me to believe that taking a short price on a horse where I can't trust his recent form, I'll look for some others.
Maybe Fan Club, 7-2 tepid choice. Let's revisit his latest in the slop right here. January 2nd, Fan Club finally puts it all together to graduate.
Street Sense, they seem to love a wet track. And you could see, it's like he's just skipping. He's barely touching the surface. He looked good, but he was a horse that took a lot of money. This was his day to shine, and he did. He delivered. He did what he was meant to do, and he has run fast enough races on a dry track. I just don't like taking a short price. Granted, I didn't want to take him at a short price either in that maiden special weight. I think I was covering that race too. So he just needs to prove it against winners in here. I like what I'm seeing from him out in the racetrack is we just saw Calibrate leave our screen. He was getting a little bit hot around the collar. He's not supposed to do that as a new gelding.
Whether it's Fan Club or just big picture handicapping, how much do you care that Fan Club's lone win, his best race, was on a muddy racetrack? We're on fast ground today.
Yeah, it bothers me a bit just because it seemed as though he was loving it so much. He was just moving so well. Now, maybe it was a product of the horses behind him not loving it as much, not running that well, and he was just so much better than them to boot. So I can't knock him too much. It's just what I originally had said, Lafitte, in that I don't necessarily want to take a horse against horses who have multiple wins, and he's jumping in to face winners for the first time, where it's taken him for the first start of his 4-year-old campaign to do it in start number 6 to break his maiden.
Can Fan Club go back-to-back? Florent Giroux riding for Brad Cox here. He'll pilot Vivar for Cox in the Southwest. Brad Cox in South Florida with Nick's Go in the Pegasus World Cup.
What a showdown. I can't wait to watch that race. But I do want to talk briefly about the long shot I was talking about. Number 5, Martini Blue. He, to be 9-1, third choice behind Cotto River and the Smarty Jones, they must have liked him. And, he ran that 71, granted as a 2-year-old. He comes back, repeats that figure, but sprinting in the slop. He was slow away. He split horses at the top of the lane. The race was dominated forwardly. Macron came back to run a 91 when he finished second that day. Look for Martini Blue to step up and run a better race at a decent price for McLean Robertson.
Maggie trying to smoke out a long shot. Martini Blue wide open. These older horses running a mile and a 16th, same distance as the Southwest. The Southwest is next. First things first, the late pick 4 starts here. 8th race, post time, Oaklawn. Vic Stauffer standing by.
They're off. Slow start for quarterback Dak. Fast start for Palace Coup, Martini Blue, Divine Armor, and Fan Club. And Palace Coup puts his neck in front. Then comes Indamage, followed by Mia Comet and Calibrate. And quarterback Dak is at the back of the pack. Palace Coup kept way to the center of the racetrack by David Cohen, but he's the controlling speed to the backside. Palace Coup, a length and a half in front of Martini Blue in a second. Fan Club now settles in third, and he's 2 from the front-running Palace Coup. Then comes Divine Armor between horses, Indamage to the outside, and at the rail, Mia Comet. They're all about 3.5 off the lead. Calibrate and quarterback Dak at the back of the pack. Palace Coup, the leader up the backstretch. He stretches out his lead to a length and a half, but now Fan Club begins to move after him in second. And here comes Fan Club in the pink of Gary and Mary West, and now Palace Coup only leads 3/4 of a length. Indamage will be 3 wide, leaving the backstretch. Mia Comet's between horses, and Martini Blue at the rail, all 2 from the front. Then 4 back to quarterback Dak and Calibrate, and Divine Armor is the trailer, and Fan Club is at the throat latch of Palace Coup now. Palace Coup just a neck in front of Fan Club in second. These two quicken along and are 2 lengths in front of Indamage and quarterback Dak. And here's Fan Club to put his head in front. Palace Coup is going to have to re-rally from the inside, and he's trying to do just that. Martini Blue is third and 2 from the front. Fan Club final furlong, and now he's a full length in front. Palace Coup continues to do his best, but Fan Club is getting away past mid-stretch. And now he's 2.5 in front. Palace Coup, Martini Blue, and Mia Comet are chasing him home, but Fan Club's got it, and he's 3.5 in front. Palace Coup tries to hold second over Martini Blue. Fan Club, yes. Fan Club won by 4 in the end. Palace Coup second, Martini Blue third. Mia Comet finished 4th.
They'll team up with Vivar in the Southwest. Brad Cox, Florent Giroux teaming up with a victory here. Fan Club delivers in the 8th at Oaklawn Park, closing at 3-1.
A horse just putting it all together. Finally, now as a 4-year-old and maybe just needed some time to mature here, putting together back-to-back good efforts. I probably talked him right into the winner's circle. Palace Coup was not giving David Cohen the easiest of rides, getting out the entire way. He finally succumbed to that inside rein, got over to the rail, was able to hold on for second over number 5, Martini Blue.
You ride. My father, having ridden all those years, he can remember with great detail. You mention a horse's name, it's like, oh, God, that horse used to get out. Oh, God, that horse used to lug in. And it's like this disgusted look on his face and how frustrating that can be. And you can relate to this, obviously, those horses that just won't run straight.
Oh, I can't even imagine. I've never ridden races. It has to be so frustrating for a rider because you're just doing everything to try to get them to run forward, run true. And, you know, it's hard for a trainer to sit and watch it as well because sometimes there's horses that won't do it at all in the morning and then they get in the race amongst others and they're just like, whoop, let's go out.
David Cohen just hoping a Dash Attack runs straight, true, and fast in the Southwest. Results for the 8th when we come back. And then the main event, Southwest Stakes, as scheduled, unlike last year. Barber Road, Smarty Jones runner-up. Will he claim those 10 Derby points? Maybe Osborne can. Springboard Mile runner-up, ready for his Oaklawn debut.
Florida Derby's always been a key stallion-making race. Constitution, Scat Daddy, Quality Road.
The 2017 Florida Derby to Always Dreaming.
I see a lot of similarities in Constitution and Always Dreaming. They're a little more angular, aerodynamic, and athletic than some of the other stallions by those sire lines. Always Dreaming offers that athleticism, and I think he can reproduce that into his babies, and you'll see some good 2-year-old performances from them.
Great to have you with us on America's Day at the Races. As always, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Stunning images from beautiful Claiborne Farm. Heavy snow there, heavy snow here in New York. Aqueduct canceled. No such problems at Oaklawn, and no such problems for Fan Club. Starting to figure things out, Maggie. Back-to-back wins.
Yeah, and this is a good-looking score again for Brad Cox and Florent Giroux. Just sat a perfect trip right off the early pace. You know, Palace Coup, he was kind of a horse they knew because I can't necessarily take a horse who is eased as the beaten favorite in his last start. But once again, took money, ran second, able to hold off Martini Blue while getting out the
long shot you liked.
I know. I'm like, Cabrera, come on, do you have a horse? Go! But Fan Club, really, a horse that figured things out, as you said.
That's exactly what she sounded like. Like 10 times louder, but that's exactly what she sounded like. Up next, Southwest Stakes. 3-year-olds running a mile and a 16th. 17 Derby points available. 10 to the winner. As discussed, Newgrange is not point eligible, but he's here and he's dangerous. The current 6-5 favorite. So this is Oaklawn's Derby prep, Maggie. And we'll get to the Martha Washington a little bit later on. 3 big stakes races today at Oaklawn. That Martha Washington earlier today, we promise you're going to see it in its entirety, but we do have live racing to get to that takes precedence. Tampa Bay Downs, the 10th race where they've crossed over to the turf course. It's like, whoa, turf racing. Cafe Fleur, odds-on favorite, 3-5. Do you have any opinions, suggestions?
I can give you a stat for Chad Brown.
I'm all ears.
First start with foreign shippers on the turf off of a year-plus layoff. He's 3 for 15. It's a small sample. It's not a bad percentage, but when you're Chad Brown, 20% is kind of not that great.
Sure.
So it's all relative with the negative ROI. This horse's 2 wins came on synthetic at Deauville and Chantilly. So winning easily. She is not a Peter Brandt homebred, but he did own her, obviously, over in France. But there just really isn't much else in here. That's the thing.
All right, so then if she's odds on and a heavy favorite in 3-5, that would mean perhaps some value elsewhere. Where might you lean for the upset?
I mean, the most consistent turf horse in here might be the 9 at a big price and Slime Queen. She's run well at this level in the past, and there's Pugilist as well. Same kind of thing with her. She's faced some decent company. I mean, VIP Nation, she's kind of that old school, venerable veteran of the game, finishing second by a neck to her last time out at Tampa, in which she was able to control. Pugilist had to run at her that day. So, there's these proven commodities. You have the 7-time winner in Pugilist. You have Slime Queen. She is only 2 for 20, but it just feels like taking 3-5 on a Chad Brown horse who hasn't run in quite a long time, so 13 months, and has never won on the turf.
4-5, you have to concede, and that's part of the story for newer fans of the sport and viewers. Maybe they tune in on big days. They see some of these Saratoga racing, and it's Chad Brown. What assumptions should not be made as a handicapper when it comes to Chad Brown running horses here at Tampa Bay Downs?
He prefers this turf course. He does.
Very important.
I mean, the bulk of his horses are now trained at Payson Park, which was purchased by Peter Brandt. So, of course, Peter Brandt wants to have his horses at the training center he owns, which is just bucolic and lovely. And they have many different training facilities at their disposal. So if you're training a horse on a pristine type of, even though it's a dirt course as Payson, you can do all these different things. Why are you going, and granted, Gulfstream has tried to assuage that by putting in the Tapeta to move the lesser, the cheaper turf races to that instead of beating up on the turf course. But this turf course at Tampa is pristine, and horses come out of it in good form and good physical form. So a horse coming back off of a long layoff that you've been putting so much time and work into, you want them to bounce back out of their first start in quite a while in good form too.
We'll be on site at Tampa Bay Downs in a couple of weeks.
Will you?
Sam F. Davis, I will.
Nice.
I will.
Enjoy.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
Always fun on this, especially on the 3-year-old Derby prep days. The Sam Davis, the final local prep for their biggest event, the Tampa Bay Derby. Live coverage right here on America's Day at the Races. We're just getting started. We will recap the Martha Washington, the next step towards the fantasy for 3-year-old fillies at Oaklawn, a Kentucky Oaks prep race run earlier today. And the Hall of Famer Gary Stevens sits down with David Cohen, who will be riding Dash Attack as the 3-year-olds are on their way over. Exciting time to be at Oaklawn Park. 3-year-olds on their way over.
Dash Attack there, just going out of our screen.
Can he remain undefeated? 2 wins, impressive winner of the Smarty Jones. Can he be as effective on fast ground as Maggie asked Kenny McPeak earlier in the show? We'll find out in about 28 minutes. New Grange for trainer Bob Baffert is the 6-5 favorite. Much more from Oaklawn. The Southwest is next. And let's see if Maggie's concerns about the favorite here are not unfounded. Cafe Fleur, the 2-tone green colors there of Peter Brandt, strictly the one to beat at post time.
Oh, I'm sure I just put her in the winner's circle. But I just thought at a short price, maybe there were some different options in here. I do like the way she looks on the racetrack. She looks racy, she looks fit and sharp. We'll see, though sometimes we see these foreign invaders, Lafitte, not break that keenly. Then again, sometimes at Tampa, it just doesn't matter.
Hannah Dances is not loading that keenly. Now she's in. Cafe Fleur steps forward. We're all set. Jason Beam standing by with the call. It is post time for the 10th race live Tampa Bay Downs.
Classy Woman, It's a Keeper, the final pair, just about set to roll here in the finale. It's a Keeper. Giovanni Garcia to the outside draw. Goes in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Bit of a slow start there for Cafe Fleur. Got pinched back and settles in last. Bernie's Mistress showing good early speed. Hannah Dance is part of the early mix, and up from the outside, Slime Queen is also forwardly placed out in third. It's a Keeper is going to be 4 deep as they go to that far turn, is fourth right now. Then comes Classy Woman in the orange colors, who races on alone in fifth. It's a break of 2 more lengths, then back to Pugilist in sixth. Down toward the inside, Marie's Melody is after that. Then comes Zarina Jenny Highway with 1 beat, and that is the favorite Cafe Fleur, who's at the back of affairs. They run through that first turn, and up on the front end, it's Bernie's Mistress by a half a length. Up on the outside, Slime Queen, the opening quarter carved out in 23 seconds flat. As they wheel onto the back stretch, they're 2 lengths clear. It's a Keeper who gets a good spot in third. Break of 4 more lengths then. Back to Pugilist, who starts a bit of a mid-back stretch move, moves around Hannah Dances, who's now back fifth. Then comes Classy Woman. It's 2 more lengths then back to Marie's Melody. Zarina still with just the 2 beat. Those are Cafe Fleur and Jenny Highway at the back. 3.5 furlongs left to go in the finale off of 47-2. Opening half mile, Bernie's Mistress there by a half. In between horses, Slime Queen launching a bid now. Pugilist up on the outside, or check the call there. Moving up on the outside is It's a Keeper. Pugilist is back in the 4 spot. Then comes Classy Woman trying to get going. Cafe Fleur going to stay down toward the inside as It's a Keeper goes to the front. Down toward the inside, Bernie's Mistress. Trying to wind up on the outside. Pugilist, Classy Woman. Cafe Fleur going to need a seam. Looks like going to go down toward the inside as they have a 3/16 of a mile left to go. Here's Pugilist up alongside It's a Keeper. Classy Woman right up alongside that one. And Pugilist, Classy Woman, the 2 that go on. Jenny Highway swings into the scene, is now up to third. Cafe Fleur still with 4 lengths to find as they come to the final 16th. It's a Keeper in front. No, it's Pugilist in front. Pugilist going to go on to win it here by 2. Sorry. Jenny Highway was second. Third went to Classy Woman in fourth. Zarina.
Accept your apology.
I love Jason Beam.
He's great. He is great. Sorry. Pugilist, Maggie. And so your concerns about the odds-on favorite, right on target. A complete non-factor, towering in the stretch and finishing off the board, Cafe Fleur.
Well, I mean, her problems began at the start, as we talked about prior to going into the gate. She did not get away that quickly, shuffled back to last. Pugilist, much the best here, as she suddenly decided to run into the race, her jockey allowing her to do so, back off the heels, checked, and then still had enough left to get the job done here. A venerable 7-year-old daughter of Get Stormy here picks up career win number 8, Lafitte.
8th lifetime win. Those results forthcoming. Tampa Bay Downs. As we touched on earlier, the 3 big stakes races today at Oaklawn Park. This was earlier race number 4 and a key prep en route to the Fantasy. Kentucky Oaks points available for the Martha Washington Stakes. 3-year-old fillies running a mile and a 16th, $200,000 purse. From start to finish, Vic Stauffer with the call. Today's Martha Washington at Oaklawn.
They're off. Both Princess Pauline and Hypersport broke slowly. Princess Pauline hopped, and that puts Optionality on the lead. Hypersport is going to have to sit at the rail and take back. Cupid's Music and a 3-wide Secret Oath are next. Then comes Between Horses and Como Square, and Princess Pauline is at the back of the pack. It's Optionality to the backstretch. She's 1.25 lengths in front of Cupid's Music in second. Como Square is a tugging third and 2 from the front. Secret Oath is fourth now and 2.5 lengths off the lead. She'll have to close into easy fractions set by Optionality. Then comes Hypersport, 5th and about 4 from the front. 3.5 back to Princess Pauline up the backstretch in the 44th running of the Martha Washington. No excuses today for Optionality. To the half-mile pole, she leads by 1.5 lengths from Cupid's Music in second. Como Square is third, 2 from the front. Secret Oath has yet to be asked by Luis Contreras, but she's moving up on her own. 3 deep in fourth and 2.5 off the lead. Hypersport is second to last. fast. Princess Pauline is the trailer, and Optionality trying to go all the way. It is Optionality, a length in front of Cupid's Music in second. Now Secret Oath is let loose, and here she comes. Secret Oath, really without even being asked yet, is right alongside Optionality, and Secret Oath is threatening to run a very, very big race here today. Secret Oath is suddenly 3 lengths in front. Optionality could do absolutely nothing about it. 3 back to Princess Pauline. Secret Oath inside the final 16th, and she is running up the score. Secret Oath is now 7 in front. Optionality is second. Secret Oath to win the Martha Washington.
That's a good feeling. Like a slingshot on the far turn and pouring it on late. Secret Oath by daylight in the Martha Washington. 10 points towards the Kentucky Oak starting gate.
Lafitte, Luis Contreras was swinging off the back of her, approaching the 3/8 pole. You knew what was about to come as they made their way down the stretch. This is a very nice filly, and how amazing is it to see the coach, Dwayne Lucas, have such a promising filly, a daughter of Arrowgate. We only are going to see 2 crops from him as he unfortunately was euthanized back in the summer of 2020. This is his 2nd stakes winner of this year. And the dam Absent-Minded, she loved it Oaklawn too. She was a 3-time stakes winner out there in Hot Springs. But Secret Oath, I know Echo Zulu is the top of the class, but Secret Oath is nipping at her heels.
Wayne Lucas is a confident guy, right? He really likes this filly. You mentioned Absent-Minded, a 2-time Bayakoa winner at Oaklawn Park. After her last win, he said Secret Oath might be better than her mother was. That's how high he thinks of Secret Oath, and she backed it up in a big way today, taking down the Martha Washington, establishing herself as a top Oaklawn-based 3-year-old filly. We'll see about her next start. Again, the 10 points towards the Kentucky Oaks at Oaklawn, all leading towards the Fantasy, their marquee race for 3-year-old fillies. Their marquee race for the boys is the Arkansas Derby, and this is the next stepping stone towards the Arkansas Derby, the Southwest Stakes. Horses in the paddock, and a live look at Dash Attack, undefeated Smarty Jones winner, currently 5-2, strong second choice, 57th running of the Southwest. Much more from Oaklawn when we come back.
Good Magic's in front. Good Magic pulls away from Solomini. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Good Magic to the front of the field in the Toyota Bluegrass to win it. The champ is back. Good Magic in a good-looking performance.
800,000, 75, 875, 8.5. Pete, 775,000. Thank you.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com.
Smile Happy was a TDN rising star following his maiden win at Keeneland. From there, he captured the Grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes to remain undefeated and earning points toward the Kentucky Derby. In Future Pool 1, Smile Happy was individual leader by lowest odds. Among the top of his crop by stakes winners and earnings, Run Happy continues his rise and is priced for success. Call today and book your mare to Red Hot Sire Run Happy, standing in legendary Stall 1 at Claiborne Farm.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Remember last year's Southwest Stakes? Didn't take place when it was supposed to. A whiteout at Oaklawn Park. We had to wait. and wait some more. But in the end, even through driving rain, it was all worth it.
Essential Quality, the champion, wins the Southwest.
We all know what happened next. Bluegrass Stakes win, Belmont Stakes win, Travers win. A potential second championship for Essential Quality. And it all started here, Oaklawn Park in Hot Springs, Arkansas, where the conditions are much better for today's Kentucky Derby prep race. Favorite arrives from California, and while his situation is complicated, he's the one to beat.
A big step forward in start 2 for Newgrange, who makes every pole a winning one in the Sham Stakes.
The colt with home field advantage, undefeated in 2 starts, but is he Kentucky Derby material?
Dash Attack is going to roll by, and now he's 3 in front of Cavad and Barber Road. Dash Attack to win the Smarty Jones.
Speaking of home field advantage, this race will literally start in this trainer's backyard. Short walk to the winner's circle should this colt bring his best.
And it's Osborne clear by 3. Osborne won it.
The $750,000 Grade 3 Southwest Stakes is next. Southwest Stakes from Oaklawn Park. You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. 66 days of racing this season at Oaklawn. Few are bigger than this one, Southwest Stakes Day. Having been there at this time, you can really sense the excitement at Oaklawn Park. The fans know what this is all about. They could be witnessing the making of an eventual Kentucky Derby winner, and that's what makes these races so exciting. You don't have to wait too much longer. Horses are in the paddock with about 15 minutes to post to the Grade 3 Southwest Stakes. Field and updated odds. 3-year-olds running a mile and a 16th. Kentucky Derby qualifier worth 17 points. Well documented. The favorite Newgrange, now 6-5, not eligible to earn points. Trained by Bob Baffert. That's all part of the Churchill Downs issued suspension. Maggie, Newgrange the favorite. Second choice, Dash Attack, winner of the Smarty Jones Stakes. What's the key to success for him this afternoon?
For Dash Attack, look, he's created his own trips in both of his starts. He's shown an elite level of professionalism, I think, in both starts that we've seen so far, especially in this Smarty Jones. He didn't break all that cleanly, but still, from that rail position, got good position going forward. David Cohen giving him an excellent ride. And then, you know, he was able to race in amongst horses, split horses at the head of the lane, and really grind out the victory, as we heard Kenny McPeak saying earlier. His biggest question marks are, given his pedigree, being by Munnings out of a hard-spun mare who was actually predominantly turf, is he going to handle the fast track? Because he's won both of his races on sealed tracks, which I often say will mimic more of a turf course. And Munnings, great sire, but his progeny don't necessarily get better with more ground.
We'll learn a lot today about Dash Attack, once again to be ridden by David Cohen. Cohen, who sat down with Gary Stevens earlier this week, talking about Dash Attack and his chances in the Southwest Stakes.
David, you rode your first Kentucky Derby last year. Keep Me in Mind, finishing 7th. How was that experience, and what knowledge did you take home with you about riding the Kentucky Derby?
Well, you know, it was a beautiful experience, obviously. Even though it's just like any other race, anytime you do something for the first time, you're going to gain some knowledge. And obviously the first time running with 19 other horses. I think some experience I definitely got out of it was you have to get your horse out of the gate and get some position early. And with Dash Attack, potentially have an opportunity to make it in the gate in May, he does have some tactical speed, so that may help him.
You know that it takes a lot of luck to win the Kentucky Derby, first of all, with the 19 other competitors in the race. But what tools at this early stage of the game does Dash Attack have that gives you the confidence, if he continues forward, that he can get you in the winner's circle possibly?
Well, even though he's lightly raced, I think he's shown he's done it very professionally. He's very versatile. He can show some early speed, or he can come a little bit further off of it. Doesn't mind the kick back in his face. and I think he'll go inside of horses, even though I've tipped him out the first 2 times I've ridden him. I don't think going inside and having to weave around and kind of make his own traffic is outside something he's comfortable with. So I think the versatility will help him quite much.
What about his mental aspect on everything, his take on handling the crowds here, especially in this small paddock that he's handled here at Oaklawn Park? Is that going to be a factor with the big crowds at Churchill?
You know, with the young horse, you never know what's going to affect him, but he's shown no apprehension in my mind of anything spooking him or bothering him. He's a very professional and classy horse, even in the morning when there's a lot more activity on the track. And, you know, really, he's done everything right, knock on wood, and hopefully he'll continue doing so.
David, we're all rooting for you. I loved what I saw in his first 2 races. I want to thank you for taking the time out and wish you good luck in the Southwest.
Very good. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Perfect to this point. Dash Attack and David Cohen, Smarty Jones winner. Back there, circling in the paddock, 5-2 second choice. Gary Stevens still with us. Gary, great stuff with David Cohen. He was discussing Dash Attack and that he does have more tactical speed. But we watched him win the Smarty Jones from well off the pace. What do you think the strategy should be this afternoon in the Southwest?
Well, Kenny is asking to put him a little closer to the pace today than what he was last time. So I'd expect he's going to, push him away from the starting gate. The kickback here today is a lot different than his last 2 races. The dirt is heavier today. I've talked to a couple of the riders, and they've said that it hurts coming back. They're coming back really muddy, and he was running on that sloppy racetrack where it's more of a spray, a splash coming back at you. So I look for him to be closer to the pace today. And if that's going to take away from his run, I don't know. There's a lot of speed in this race, and I'd hate to see him take him completely out of his game. He was so beautifully ridden last time, but that's what's been asked of him, so we'll have to see how it plays out, guys.
Gary, you're a 3-time Derby winning jockey. How excited, what are these moments like for a rider, not just riding in a $750,000 race, not just an important stakes race, but a Kentucky Derby prep? What's going through the mind of the riders?
Well, you're just keeping your fingers crossed. It's a long ways to the Kentucky Derby, to that first Saturday in May. This is a stepping stone. He's already made one stepping stone, but this is $750,000 today, and you just want to see these horses continue to get better with each and every race without getting completely to the bottom of it. If you win a race like this today and can do it in hand, and you know you have more left, you've got a smile on your face just waiting for the next step towards the Kentucky Derby, whether that's the Rebel or whatever path they may choose to move forward.
Oaklawn Park in this series of preps so productive over the last several years, going back to Smarty Jones in 2004, who swept the 3 major Triple Crown prep races at Oaklawn before capturing the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness Stakes. Our first Triple Crown winner in 37 years in 2015. American Pharaoh won the Rebel in the Arkansas Derby before capturing the Triple Crown. So who will emerge victorious in the Southwest? New Grange here, 6-5 for Bob Baffert. Maggie, understandably, with all the recent attention on Bob Baffert and the story and the reason New Grange is not eligible for Derby points, I think what's being forgotten to a certain extent is what Baffert has done here at Oaklawn over the years. When he ships horses from California, like next to automatic.
Very true. I mean, look at Concert Tour last year. Look what, going back 2 years ago when they had the double Derby, Arkansas Derby type of thing. He's looking for his 5th win in this Southwest, as I'm actually just watching the San Vicente.
Where he had 3.
And was not won by a Baffert horse despite having 3 in there. So I would say New Grange not complimented by his workmate Pinehurst, not particularly running well in there. But New Grange here, as I said before, he got to walk in the park in that first half a mile. Almost 50 to the half is pedestrian at Santa Anita. And of course he was able to power away from the field. John Velasquez is not going to be able to do that. This horse is posted outside with that short run to the first turn at Oaklawn Park, and there is speed to his inside. He gets a test today. And like I said, watching his workout heading into this, his last workout, which was with Pinehurst, I didn't think he was going as well as Pinehurst. And like I said, Pinehurst did I think, run a well-beaten second here, although it's a photo in the San Vicente. So I don't know. I'm a little against him, Lafitte, if you couldn't pick up on that.
The riders up here, Maggie, a better multitasker than the rest of us. Earlier this week, Bob Baffert texted the following, quote, "Glad to be running at Oaklawn again. Nice horse, training well." That's Newgrange. This is Osborne, runner-up in the Springboard Mile. If you haven't watched this race, considering how, look at how far he is fan-wide going into the first turn. So much goes wrong in the race for Osborne, and still a bang-up effort.
So he's posted on the outside, which wasn't great. It was this strange race where we saw two Winchell Steve Asmussen horses want to go in here. And so we see the one go, and then the gray horse starts to run off. So that engages the 5, the other Asmussen horse, as we skip to the final turn here. And then Osborne kind of gets caught up in it all, too, down the backside. He was the first one to make the move on the inside of the eventual winner, make it big, and I thought he was very game, battling down to the wire here. And when you have a horse get headstrong, you're wasting so much more energy than just letting them go, which I totally get why Julian Leparoux did what he did in that race. I just question, though, how far does he want to go? Being by Tapiture, we've seen many of his progeny just be a little bit better on the shorter side of things, and coming up a little bit short in that Springboard Mile, albeit with trouble, leads me to believe that maybe he doesn't want to go this far. But 15-1 is a good price on a horse who has done little wrong in his races with a win in 2 seconds.
Osborne loved the effort at 2 or 3 different times. Could have thrown in the towel. Had every reason to, and kept fighting and fighting and fighting. That bang-up second-place finish in the Springboard Mile. See what Osborne does in his Oaklawn debut in this $750,000 Southwest Stakes.
Now we see many horses emerging out of the Smarty Jones to face Dash Attack again. The horse I'm interested in kicks off our post parade. Ben Diesel. He is favorably drawn this time as opposed to in the 13 hole. Rushed. I mean, totally rushed to the front end, going wide into that turn. Now he gets to dictate things on his own terms. This horse is a fool to Will Secret, who won last year's Martha Washington and Honeybee.
The one to catch, Ben Diesel. Dash Attack, undefeated Smarty Jones winner with David Cohen.
I honestly, I really like this horse as an individual. Again, my question marks. Fast Track, how far does he want to go?
Find out in 5 minutes. Don't cross the devil. So far back in the Smarty Jones and just lost contact.
Yeah, I mean, he had nothing to offer. First start for Phil D'Amato. Maybe he regroups, but again, that was his first start off Lasix. He's going to have to race without it again here.
Cabot, he's quick. Solid 4th place finish in the Smarty Jones.
Very good after being picked up for $50,000 by Chris Hartman. This horse was the first to engage that pace early on and still hung around, only beaten 3 lengths by Dash Attack.
Costa Terra, Team Gunrunner, by Gunrunner, 3-year-old debut.
Flaxen, mane and tail. You love a flaxen mane and tail, don't you?
I even know what a flaxen chestnut is. I'm so proud of myself. Osborne, Springboard Mile runner-up.
This is a horse that 15-1 is a very generous price, who comes out of an effort where, as we have mentioned, had some trouble and still posted an 83 buyer, which puts him right in the mix here.
Ignitus, 3rd in the Smarty Jones, could be a big day for Dwayne Lucas.
Yeah, this guy did not have much speed, weirdly. In that Smarty Jones, maybe he does show a little bit more pace this time around.
Barbara Road, Smarty Jones, 2nd place finisher.
He was wide going into the first turn. He was under a ride. Then he had to steady as the winner went by. He stayed on really well. I was impressed with his effort.
Classic moment. Quick Colt, 2nd and 2 for Steve Asmussen.
Love the blinkers going on. You know, he was engaged by that horse. He's the one that comes out of that Springboard Mile too. And then he backed up going into the turn, and then he came on again. So he's crying out for some blinkers.
Newgrange, John Velasquez in the Starlight colors.
Well, he certainly is a horse that looks as though the further he gets to run, actually, the better. He's a long, lanky, scopy horse. I just don't know. I think that last race was exaggerated by him being able to dictate.
Call Me Jamal to the outside would be a big surprise.
Would be a big surprise, but depending on how he runs here, has a lot to say about the last race on the Oaklawn card. As several runners coming out of there.
Too big a price. Vivar, Human Element intact, Florent Giroux, Brad Cox.
Another horse. Love the blinkers going on. He did not have much speed in that Smarty Jones. He was swung very wide, and then he just kind of ran on mightily. He never really put his head down and leveled off, so I think blinkers might help that with him today.
Field for the 57th running of the Southwest Stakes Kentucky Derby prep race. Newgrange pictured 6-5. Well, the Hall of Famer in the saddle, John Velasquez, a Hall of Famer with us at Oaklawn. Gary, Newgrange in the 2 starts. He was forwardly placed in his debut, but just off the pace. And then wire to wire with that slow pace in the Sham Stakes. What do you think the strategy is with John Velasquez today?
He's going to be aggressive today. He's got the 10 post position. He's got to save ground going into that first turn. So he's going to let us see how much speed Newgrange actually has. He's not going to get a walk in the park today. There is speed inside of him. There's speed to his outside as well with Jamal. So I think he's going to send pretty hard going into that first turn, secure his position, and then see where he happens to be. But he's going to be right up near the front or on the lead, guys.
Newgrange, even money, I think, on paper, and trying to project, Maggie, what the pace is going to look like with that short run to the first turn Gary mentioned. Ben Diesel from the outside, do you think is he the quickest? Do you expect him to be in front and Newgrange just off his flank?
Right, for Ben Diesel switching from the outside to the inside, far outside in that Smarty Jones. Now, Ben Diesel, yes, he is quick. There are some other horses that are quick in here, too, as Gary brought up with Call Me Jamal. He's not slow. Ben Diesel might be the thing is John Court, he gets to dictate this race. As long as Ben Diesel breaks, he gets to control things and see, if John Velasquez is sending, go ahead. But also he's going to be saving ground where if he needs to engage him and push him along a little bit, fine, do so. I think Ben Diesel is very dangerous in this spot for the upset specialist in Dallas Stewart, who the horses that he shipped up to Oaklawn, as this horse is there, I should say, have been running very well as my husband assaults me with text messages. Sorry.
Just put you on blast, Tom. About a minute to go till this Southwest Stakes. Look at that Newgrange. You are blowing up over there.
Jeez, he knows I'm on set. What the heck is wrong with him?
Barber Road number 8, and we saw him chasing Dash Attack in the Smarty Jones. Barber Road number 8, and he finished second in that, but he had to wait for Dash Attack to advance, to clear, until he could make his move, which who knows how much that cost him, and he should have another solid, honest pace to work with today from off the pace Barber Road. There he is.
And what a bargain. A son of Race Day. They only paid $15,000 for as a yearling. And this one for John Ortiz, who will see Johnny represented well by Hollis in the King Cotton in the next race that we have here on the program from Oaklawn. He's having a great meet. All of his horses are running. I love this warm-up that we're seeing from Ricardo Santana, who does climb aboard for the first time. I wouldn't be worried about that. But I'm also wondering if, too, he's a horse that shows just a little bit more speed, drawn just a touch more inside than what he was for that Smarty Jones. And he was stretching out for only the second time, and the time that other route race he ran, he won on the front end. So I really thought his last race was a good effort because I think he was taken out of his element.
Barber Road currently 9-1 as these 3-year-olds approach the starting gate. Heard from David Cohen sitting down with Gary Stevens. First ride in a Kentucky Derby last year, having finished 7th in his Derby debut with Keep Me in Mind. Now going to ride Dash Attack. Is there anything you'll be looking for specifically that could tip us off as to whether or not Dash Attack is as happy out there, is as comfortable out there in his first race on a fast track when he's done all of his damage in 2 races on wet surfaces? Is there anything our viewers can look for?
Head carriage. If he is settling into stride, his head isn't up in the air. Now, obviously, the wet kickback is a little bit more severe than the dry kickback, so it's not necessarily him getting hit by it. It's more, is he settling into stride? Is he letting himself down to extend his stride over this surface? Look, maybe I'm probably making way too much of it, to be fair, but it's just things I noted with the pedigree, and obviously it's an unknown with him too. But on the flip side, he also projects to get the right kind of setup here, Lafitte, doesn't he? I mean, if the pace materializes, which it often does, if it's on paper, it often does materialize out at Oaklawn. These riders aren't scared of the lead that we often see here in New York. So I would rather take him at 3-1 than 4-5 on the
And watch him at the start. He won the Smarty Jones, but flat-footed, last, leaving the starting gate in the first few strides. Just a tardy, sluggish start. It's not a great habit to get into, stalker, closer, whatever. When you get these bigger fields, get all these 3-year-olds together, typically you need a horse that can put himself into position wherever that might be early on.
Yeah, he was in post 1. He did have to stay on the longest. They do kind of a different type of load at Oaklawn, where it's a split load, but the middle horse goes in last. So it's a little bit different than what most racetracks do. I think it's kind of interesting. You know, not a complete disadvantage for being the last one in, but usually if you're the last one in, you're the first one out. So we'll see. Dash Attack, he'll have to stand there a little bit. I'm sure David Cohen's going to be conscious of that, making sure that the assistant starter in the stall with him has him backed up squarely against the back stalls there, is, you know, standing on his hind legs, because that's where you need to push off. We do see him with cotton in his ears, a horse that, I mean, ultimately seems very laid back to me from what we've seen from him training in the paddock. So, you know, I kind of think that's a little bit interesting. And David said he was a very true type of, is that cotton in his ears, or am I just seeing the brow? No, that's cotton in his ears. He looks great out there. Does he look like a horse that wins a 1.25 miles? Not necessarily.
Distance. Can he thrive at this 1.16 mile distance?
Spun.
If we will, who has runner-up in the Kentucky Derby, 2 Street Sense in 2007, hard spun Osborne, and we had Kenny McPeak on the show earlier, and what an opportunity this could be. A lot of time still, 98 days until the 148th running of the Kentucky Derby. Right now, his hand and the talent of 3-year-olds in his stable, Tis the Bomb, Smile Happy, Rattle and Roll, Dash Attack. Kenny McPeak, who had a Derby runner last year, like scratched the day before the race. That's always frustrating. Rattle and Roll this year, missed the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Trying to win a first Derby. Second in his debut with Tejano Run when Gary Stevens upset him with Thunder Gulch in 1995. This will be a big story. McPeak trying to get that first Derby, and how good the 3-year-old prospects he's training, the volume and talent. First things first, Dash Attack here in the Southwest.
Exactly. You know, it's a great position for Kenny to be in, but it's also at the same time a bit of an unenviable one, because, look, you have all these Derby prospects at the end of January, and it's always on your mind, am I going to have all of them the first Saturday in May?
Good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have, but it's also, you know, one that carries a lot of pressure. And we'll see. I mean, I would love nothing more than Kenny to have a great 3-year-old crop here and get 1, 2, 3, maybe all 4 to the Kentucky Derby. And as you said, it all starts here with Dash Attack, as he did load without a problem. He's standing there in the stalls. You can pick him out, though. He's got that nice big white face to him.
Second choice, the favorite, Newgrange, odds on 4-5 for Bob Baffert in a conversation. Should he win? Should he win? That conversation we have to have. Like, what's next? What's next for Newgrange? Not eligible to earn Kentucky Derby points. But first things first, it is post time for the Southwest, live from Oaklawn. Vic Stauffer standing by. Newgrange, odds on 4-5 favorite.
Last to load is Vivar. They're at the post. They're off. Perfect start. Newgrange and Classic Moment shows speed. Kavad and Ben Diesel at the rail. Osborne going to take back, and so did Ben Diesel as John Court takes a hold. Jamal, Call Me Jamal is next. Then to the outside and Don't Cross the Devil. Dash Attack is midfield. Costa Terra and Ignitus, then Barber Road, and the early trailer is Vivar. To the backstretch, and Kavad is the leader from Classic Moment in second. Kavad, 3/4 of a length. Classic Moment is second by 1.5 lengths to Newgrange, who sits third for John Velasquez and eyes the front runners. A 3.5 length margin. Back two. To the outside, Don't Cross the Devil. Osborne between horses and Ben Diesel at the rail. Here's Ben Diesel to take 4th and 4 from the front. 3.5 more back to Ignitus, Barber Road, Call Me Jamal, and Costa Terra. They're all about 9 off the lead. Vivar is still the trailer, a 1/2 mile to go in the 57th Southwest, and Kavad is the leader, 3 furlongs from the money. He's a length in front of Classic Classic Moment in second. New Grange is asked to go after the front runners now. Ben Diesel stays at the rail. Osborne is between horses. Dash Attack has 5 lengths to make up. They run towards the top of the stretch. Here's Classic Moment outside of Cavad. Cavad is still ahead in front. Classic Moment, New Grange and Ben Diesel in striking position if they're good enough. Top of the stretch, Cavad leaves the rail open if Ben Diesel is good enough to go through. Classic Moment is there. Then comes Osborne and New Grange. Cavad is still there. Cavad leaves, drifts it out just a bit. Ben Diesel is trying to move through from the inside, and New Grange to the outside in Barber Road. New Grange has now taken the lead. Barber Road and Ben Diesel. New Grange, Barber Road. New Grange in front. The 57th Southwest goes to New Grange. He beat Barber Road and Ben Diesel. Cavad finished 4th.
The Hall of Famer John Velasquez had to work for that one. New Grange for two-time Triple Crown winning trainer Bob Baffert, a 5th win in the Southwest Stakes. Yellow cap on the outside. John Velasquez going to work, and he was going to work on New Grange before the field hit the far turn.
Well, you were worried if you had New Grange at the 3/8 pole, but he is a horse that you look at him and you can tell when you look at him as a physical, not watching his last race, that he is just going to be a grinding type that grinds out these victories at a longer distance. Cavad was, I think, running off. It looked as though he had his tongue over the bit as his mouth was wide open. I thought, considering that still ran well to be 4th, weird type of decision with Ben Diesel from the start. We saw him about 6 lengths out of it down the backside. He was able to secure 3rd. And then the John Ortiz horse in here running really well from far back once again. Not exactly what we saw, what we thought we would see from him. Barber Road just getting on track just a bit too late again.
Most recognizable assistant trainer in the sport, Jimmy Barnes, with New Grange. It's a powerhouse ownership. They known as the Avengers, SF Racing, Starlight, Maddocket, and several other heavy hitters. And Maggie, now a decision has to be made. This was a Kentucky Derby qualifying race. The winner is supposed to earn 10 points because New Grange is trained by Bob Baffert, serving this 2-year suspension issued by Churchill Downs, where he can't run horses at Churchill properties, cannot enter horses in the Kentucky Derby for the next 2 years, and horses he trains are not eligible to earn qualifying points. So now what? What does ownership do with New Grange, still with 0 Kentucky Derby points, and the points that the races that offer the most points just around the corner at Oaklawn, the Rebel, 50 to the winner, and eventually the Arkansas Derby, 100 to the winner. What's next?
If you want to get into the Kentucky Derby, you have to move trainers. You got to leave them with somebody there. We see Brad Cox train for some of the people, ownership groups in this syndicate. So maybe does he stay with Brad Cox? I don't know. I mean, I guess a lot will emerge after this race because although he did not win the San Vicente with 3 of the 5 runners, we do see these Bob Baffert horses winning these Derby preps early on here, and a decision has to be made before, as you alluded to it, before they don't have enough points because they're missing out on the points races. It's interesting.
And look, of course we're speculating, but you have to at this point. That's a huge part of the story, and the owners getting together and deciding what's next for that particular racehorse. Trained by Bob Baffert is New Grange. He spent the weekend with trainer Rudolph Brissett. Brissett, who learned underneath one of the very best, the Hall of Famer Bill Mott. Brissett, who does train some horses for Starlight and other owners involved with New Grange. He galloped New Grange Thursday morning, galloped him yesterday as well. John Velasquez in the saddle, who's won that Derby last year, still pending Medina Spirit for Bob Baffert, and it'll be a story to follow in the coming days, coming weeks, in terms of what is next for New Grange. A win today, and aside from that aspect, the performance itself. Earlier we saw Secret Oath win the Martha Washington, and you're like, wow, she could be a legit Kentucky Oaks contender. This race, Big Smile John Velasquez, exciting race. I don't walk away smelling any roses at first glance, Maggie.
No, it was a workmanlike victory. Now, he did run faster than what we saw, the impressive win from Secret Oath, that this time in 1:45.4. She ran 1:46.1. So a bit of a, 2/5 of a second discrepancy there between these two victories. It's still so early.
98 days. Lots can change, and a lot
Who
will
knows?
change.
We may have not seen the Derby winner yet. He may have not even started yet.
What's Justify Day?
Exactly.
What is Justify Day?
Justify
Like
Day?
mid-February when he debuted?
Right.
Triple Crown winner. But it's exciting. We get fired up when that calendar turns. Everybody has Derby fever, right? And in terms of this story, Newgrange and with Bob Baffert, those proceedings ongoing. Kentucky Horse Racing Commission has scheduled a hearing February 7th. Perhaps some clarity soon. For the time being, a win for Newgrange in the Southwest and Johnny V.
Eclipse champion Blame ranks among the nation's top sires at a fraction of the price. His recent top runners include Aga Khan stud Saidabad, a top performer overseas, stakes winners Mandate, Officiating, Love the Nest, Dancing Kiki, and Blame JD. With success on the track and success in the ring, this proven son of Arch is truly a gold value stallion. Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races, as always, brought to you in part by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Join us at nairabets.com. We just watched the favorite deliver in Newgrange. We will hear from John Velasquez, and I'm interested to hear what he was thinking as the field was going into the far turn, and he was having to ask Newgrange, having to encourage him to pick up his feet.
Right, because that wasn't the case in his two victories thus far. And, I mean, it's impressive that he showed a new dimension today in which, yes, he was able to sit off the pace. He was 3 wide throughout. He was under a ride by the 3/8 pole and still grounded out the victory. I mean, the real story also, or the side story here, is the complete no-show from Dash Attack, who we saw as they rounded the turn completely back out of contention. And maybe, I don't know, maybe does he end up on the turf sometime soon? I don't know. Maybe something happened to him. We will keep you updated, though, on Dash Attack. And excited to see what Johnny might say about Newgrange and what he was feeling throughout the running of the race.
You were watching, Dash Attack started to advance. Newgrange looked like he might be in deep water. And you start looking at jockeys in body language, and you can tell, like, who has horse and who's already encouraging. And it felt like every rider was having to ask their horses to start really picking it up, rounding the far turn. And it kind of, in the end, felt like a last man standing type of race.
As you kind of mentioned, it feels like a race that you might not want all of them coming out of it. We'll see. Newgrange could progress. He's run fast in his previous 2 efforts. So we'll see. Does he stay at Oaklawn? That's the biggest question, possibly for a different trainer.
Rebel, Arkansas Derby, the road to Louisville through Hot Springs, Arkansas, a Kentucky Derby winner's circle that John Velasquez knows well. A victory today in the Southwest with Newgrange. See what the Hall of Famers have to say about this one. Gary Stevens with Johnny V.
John, it looked like you were all in going into the far turn over there. It didn't look, I thought you were all done.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried because he didn't seem to be handling the track, and he keeps swapping leads a little bit back and forth. And I had to get really serious with him and to get his mind in running. Once he got to the horses close to the on the lead, he got a little bit into a good rhythm, but not really to him. And when it's 5:16 point to the quarter pole, he kind of swapped a couple times leads. So like, come on, buddy, you got to get your stride together. And down the lane, he switched, and when I got after him, he responded. But it took me a little bit for him to get a good feel of it, you know.
Johnny, I know you got to ride the next race. Congratulations. Go get another one, buddy.
Thank you.
Guys.
We'll have stakes racing coming up with the King Cotton. John Velasquez could have that much of a bigger afternoon, Oaklawn Park, riding Newgrange. And time to give Newgrange some credit as well. While maybe it wasn't overly visually impressive, he's undefeated now, 3 for 3, and finds a way to win this afternoon.
Yeah, he does, and that's truly what you want in a racehorse. And two, with the Derby in mind, he is a horse that has tactical speed and tractability, and that's what you want. You don't want those deep closers in the Derby, usually, if history is any indication. So, yes, he has the running style. As I said, he looks like a horse. I mean, watching the replay on the Oaklawn field, he kind of looks like a gazelle. He's very long, lanky, and that's what I think of in a horse that wants a classic distance.
In which would lead you to believe room for improvement.
Yeah.
While he grows into himself moving forward.
Couldn't agree more.
I think for newer fans to the sport, like how young these horses really are. Richie McGlory always focuses on this, that a horse isn't really fully mature till late in their 4-year-old season, until they're 5, how these are still kids figuring it out mentally and physically.
Well, in other equine disciplines, horses aren't started until they're 4 or 5. So, a lot of other equestrian disciplines look at us as, we're racing these babies, but it also builds them up. It builds their bone structure. It builds their stamina. So, therefore, that's why we have these good performances as 3-year-olds. But yes, you talk about the physicality of it too, but you also talk about the mental aspect, and I think that's what Johnny was talking about too, with him just kind of being taken out of his element and trying to figure out how to still win in the midst of a race. He didn't have the lead, so therefore he had to go and attack other horses. And as Johnny said, once he engaged him, he found that stride and leveled off.
Another Southwest win for Bob Baffert, 5th overall. He's a record holder for Rebel wins at Oaklawn Park, several Arkansas Derbies. And now, what's next? What's next for Newgrange moving forward with that point scenario? He's ineligible right now as he's with Bob Baffert. What does that massive heavy-hitting ownership decide to do with Newgrange, today's Southwest Stakes winner? And as mentioned, we're not done with the stakes racing. The King Cotton coming up next. Hollis, Nashville, going head-to-head. Maybe there's an upset lurking out there for trainer Cipriano Contreras. He has home base. Much more on Contreras as we get set for the 3rd and final stakes race at Oaklawn on this Saturday program. Stay with us.
Harris Farms, proudly standing Smiling Tiger, a triple Grade 1 winner, defeating Breeders' Cup champions Dancing in Silks and Amazombie, a leading California sire with over $9.7 million in progeny earnings, with 94 winners in 2021 and graded stakes superstars like Spice Perfection.
Spice Perfection wins the Grade 1 La Brea.
And Tiger Dad. Smiling Tiger, a leading California sire, standing at Harris Farms. It pays to be Cal bred.
Blood Horse Plus, available through bloodhorse.com, provides exclusive, timely, and unmatched content to subscribers, including Fox Sports, Blood Horse branded weekly programs, a detailed stakes winners section, behind-the-scenes videos from Blood Horse staff, on-demand access to deeper horse statistics, and a $5 monthly credit to equineline.com. Upgrade to Blood Horse Plus today.
Start spreading the news. If you're looking to win in New York, then breed in New York. To War Dancer, the millionaire son of Warfront, and New York's #1 sire of 3-year-olds. Breed to a proven performer, the #1 second crop sire at the Saratoga meet with multiple winners at Belmont and Aqueduct. Earn double the New York Breeders' Awards and participate in the New York Stallion Series with $2 million in purses. War Dancer, proud to stand in New York. Visit wardancerstud.com.
This season at Oaklawn, we've got more of everything. More of the top thoroughbreds in the world. More days of live racing. And the largest purses in our history. All at a completely reimagined Oaklawn. Come be a part of this historic season at Arkansas's only casino resort.
Great to have you with us on America's Day at the Races. As always, brought to you in part by Hillendale at Alapa. 2 left at Oaklawn and the King Cotton Stakes. This is going to be fun. Scratch number 2, Long Range Toddy, a former Rebel winner. Field of 8, sprinting 3/4 of a mile. Hollis drawn inside it, 7-2. Nashville at 3-2, Maggie. And we've been looking forward to this one. Kind of a rematch in Hollis and Nashville going head-to-head. 2 of the fastest horses in training at Oaklawn Park.
Well, are you a New York guy or are you a Tennessee guy? It's kind of fun, these 2 horses matching up. I love the name Hollis because the LIR guy always shouts it at you when you're riding the train.
Hollis.
Into this Hollis. But he ran his eyeballs out last time out when they met Nashville, trying to overcome the layoff and the inside post. Rolls a reverse this time around with the post position draw. This was Nashville's, tour de force in his 2-year-old year.
A record-breaking performance at Keeneland on the Breeders' Cup undercard, jaw-dropping. And at the time, should we run in the Breeders' Cup Sprint? No, we'll be a little bit more conservative. We would have won the Breeders' Cup Sprint had he run that race a few hours later.
Ricardo's just sitting pretty chilly there. He is just a fast horse. I have not seen a horse with a Timeform US Pace early speed figure of a 136. That has to be the fastest of any horse running now.
Got 242 buyer speed figure, Nashville. And then on the comeback, we didn't see him for a while and ran into a buzzsaw by the name of Hollis and a record-breaking performance for 5.5 furlongs at Oaklawn. Hollis leaving Nashville in his wake.
Yeah, posting a 109 speed figure. Hollis really had his running shoes on. I said the layoff he had to contend with. Well, Hollis was coming back off a bit of a layoff too himself. And Mr. Jägermeister, he came back distant third that day to post 100 buyer speed figure. And the horse that finished last will also see in here as well, Lafitte, and a horse that came back to win, albeit a maiden 50 for Cipriano Contreras, home base.
This is going to be so much fun, this road to the Count Fleet. Of course, some of the bigger sprint races at Oaklawn. We'll have the Whitmore, formerly the Hot Springs, the next stop. But this King Cotton, as you look at trainer Steve Asmussen with Nashville, who is 8-5. Number 3, though, is home base, as Maggie mentioned, for trainer Cipriano Contreras. And we're about to blow his cover. There's a specific spot at Oaklawn where Contreras likes to watch his horses train. Cipriano, I think we've ruined your privacy. If we've done so, we apologize.
Most mornings you can find Cipriano Contreras parked in his truck north of the grandstand watching his horses train. He discovered his favorite spot when social distancing became a way of life.
When we first got here, they recommended us to, kind of separate a little bit if we could. When you're working a horse and he's coming down the lane, you can watch him start off all the way there, watch him go, and then you can watch him gallop off from here. You can see him pull up. Then we go back to the barn to make sure they're okay. Pretty good spot.
On the days he's not at Oaklawn, he's at Turfway Park, driving over 1,200 miles once a week to check on his other string of horses.
Yeah, we're doing a little driving. We got to make sure everything's okay over there, so we got to try to be there at least once a week and spend a couple of days there, drive back and move horses from here to there, they're here, they need to go over there. A couple are there, they need to come back here. So we try to get them to go wherever the race goes.
Oaklawn has become one of Contreras' favorite spots. After living in Chicago and working for Michael Rivas for 30 years, he made the bold move to leave Illinois and train on his own in 2016.
And Mike is the kind of guy that, he said, how's that horse? And either you know or you don't know. So you couldn't be wrong too many times. I mean, you had to get the right answer. It's good to work for sure. He's a good horseman, been around for a very long time. He's still winning races. The guy's strong.
After a career year in 2020, Contreras was among Oaklawn's top 5 trainers in 2021. He's done it predominantly racing claiming horses.
But home base is clear now, and he's got it. Home base in front.
Cipriano Contreras, the winning trainer.
I don't have any breeders. I don't train for a big farm. All my clients, they like to claim a horse, so that's what we do. When you claim a horse and you run him back or you drop him, you expect him to run good. When you get a baby, they don't know how to gallop, and you get them all the way to the races and you win. When you win them with a first-time starter, it makes you feel like you know what you're doing. Get a little more joy out of it than a regular race.
Train from his truck tomorrow and wondering where'd all these people come from as home base tries to pull off the upset. You're looking at collusion, illusion, but home base feels like too big a number, 26-1, Maggie, for a 7-year-old now. He got that confidence going again after that win for $50,000 in a claiming race New Year's Day.
Yeah, but he was destroyed by Hollis in Nashville. I think that's why you see the price that you do currently. The last time they met, albeit home base was coming off a bit of a layoff, a horse that has run at times some very fast races, and it makes him a major player. My thing at this level in the King Cotton, I just always has felt that home base was more of a horse that wants just a little bit more ground than the 3/4.
Ambitious move here, Cipriano Contreras with home base. 26-1, hooking some of the fastest horses in training. You saw Florent Giroux on Nashville, 3-2 for Steve Asmussen. What's that?
Did you just twang?
Did I twang?
You want Nashville?
Did I do it? Wasn't intentional. I promise. Maybe Gary will twang for us. Gary, when we watch Hollis beat Nashville, Hollis had the outside post, Nashville had the rail. Those roles are now reversed. How does that figure to impact race shape early on?
Well, I can tell you, if the same Hollis that showed up the other day when he broke the track record, you're going to get the same result regardless of the post position. I think that Nashville will clear as he did the other day, and I think that Hollis will get to the outside. The thing is he ran so hard in his last race. Is he going to be able to repeat that? The track surface is different today. It's not as fast. It wasn't that fast that day that he broke the track record either. But if that same Hollis shows up, it's going to be the same outcome.
He was sensational. Maggie, can he duplicate that effort? Hollis here going 3/4 as good as he looked going 5.5 furlongs. It does make a difference.
It does. It does. And he took advantage of, I think, Nashville having to come off of the extended layoff. Does he react a little bit to that big number he posted coming in off of the 3-month layoff that he was respectively coming off of? So the roles are reversed. At the end of the day, Nashville is quicker away from there. So I don't think the post position necessarily matters as much.
Nashville 3-2. They'll make the turn. We'll start the post parade for this 2022 King Cotton Stakes. $150,000 purse, 3/4 of a mile dash. There is Hollis, the 5.5 furlong track record holder at Oaklawn.
And John Ortiz has just done an amazing job with him. I mean, he's won 2 stakes for him. He's trying to win his 3rd after being claimed going back to May 2020 for $50,000.
Home base for Cipriano Contreras.
Another one that was claimed for $50,000 back in early 2021. He's done a great job with this horse. He's eked 2 wins out of him. It's just a much tougher field than what he had last time.
Collusion, illusion. John Velasquez looking for back-to-back stakes wins.
Very abbreviated 4-year-old campaign. As a 3-year-old, he was good. If he can ever get back to those races, which maybe he can because Blinker's coming back off, race before was on the turf, he could.
Double crown for our friend and colleague Tom Amoss.
Double Crown is going to have to get back to his races that we saw at Gulfstream Park. He is a Maryland bred that could not beat Maryland competition last time.
Nashville. 6 to 5, 2 minutes out.
Looking good, bouncing on his toes. I want to watch him warm up a bit more. I did not love the way he warmed up prior to his last start.
Something to keep our eyes on moving forward. Bob's Edge trying to pull off an upset.
Bob's Edge is a little interesting. Comes off a little bit of a break for Larry Jones. Was wired last time as the beaten favorite. County final, just missed second. But I thought a horse that had a little bit of a look at him at 13-1.
Boldor, defending champ with David Cohen in Seven Nation Army, second to Boldor, last year's King Cotton.
I think Boldor took advantage of a wet track, a horse that has done some better running on the turf. Seven Nation Army, I thought last time was able to control. He did get a little hot in that last race. I saw him lathered on his neck, and maybe that's usually an indication of just needing a start coming in off the long layoff.
Fun day of thoroughbred racing at Oaklawn Park, and it's not done yet. Now we started with the Martha Washington Kentucky Oaks Prep. Secret Oath, good as advertised for trainer Dwayne Lucas. Solid stakes racing. Fan club here. Back-to-back wins for Brad Cox, Florent Giroux, and moments ago, New Grange for Bob Baffert, John Velasquez victorious in the Southwest. The King Cotton in 2 minutes.
A Grade 1 winner on both dirt and turf, War of Will became a classic winner with this victory in the Preakness Stakes. And added a Grade 1 with turf credentials in the Maker's Mark Mile. A winner in Grade 1 placed at 2. Multiple graded stakes victor at 3 and Grade 1 winner again at 4. This son of Warfront has proven his class at every level. At Keeneland November, his first mares and foals sold up to $310,000. War of Will, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Boulder tips out 3 wide and third, 2 from the front. New leader, Seven Nation Army. Seven Nation Army is the leader. Boulder is coming after him. Mr. Jägermeister still very much part of this 3-horse battle to the wire. Seven Nation Army, Mr. Jägermeister, Boulder to the outside. Here comes Boulder to put his head in front, and Boulder has done it.
And they get to do it all over again today. Boulder, defending champ, turning back Seven Nation Army, but in last year's King Cotton, there wasn't a Nashville, a Collusion Illusion, or a Hollis to contend with.
And it was a sloppy, wet track. I mean, I think Seven Nation Army is a little bit interesting in here, second off the bench for our good friend Rod Moquette.
Collusion illusion, Maggie. Can he reach back and find the stuff that made him one of the best sprinters as a 3-year-old?
I think you could find reasons to give him excuses as a 4-year-old in those 2 brief races. He's going to have to overcome another layoff again, but blinkers coming off, back on Lasix, back at on a surface. I mean, he was running fast numbers as a 3-year-old.
John Velasquez looking for another stakes win. Took down the Southwest Newgrange, now trying with Collusion illusion. Hollis, Nashville, the rematch. Post time for the King Cotton Stakes. Vic Stoffer standing by.
And 7 Nation Army. They're at the post. They're off. Home Base wins the break and goes for the front. Nashville actually broke last. Now he's moved up to be mid-pack, but a tardy start for Nashville. So Home Base and Hollis are 1-2, but here comes Nashville up after the front now, and now these 3 speed along. 7 Nation Army is in a 4th. Then comes Collusion Illusion at the rail. Just outside of him, it's Bob's Edge and Double Crown, and defending champion Boulder at the back of the pack into the far turn in the 72nd King Cotton, and Nashville has the lead. He's just in front of Home Base in 2nd. 7 Nation Army is now a clear-cut 3rd, and he's coming after the top 2. 7 Nation Army within a length of the lead. Bob's Edge is threatening to run a good one. He runs up 3 deep, and here's Bob's Edge all the way up into 3rd, and he might get to the lead at the top of the stretch. Meanwhile, Hollis is 4 behind, and we have a new leader. It is Bob's Edge off the top of the turn. He's now a length and a half in front of Nashville and to the outside Home Base, but it's Bob's Edge. He got the jump at the top of the stretch, and he leads. Boulder is flying from the back of the pack, but it's Bob's Edge clear as 16th out. He's 4 lengths in front. 7 Nation Army is 2nd. Home Base in Boulder. Bob's Edge to win the King Cotton. Bob's Edge won by better than 2. Home Base was 2nd. 7 Nation Army 3rd. Close for 4th between Boulder and Hollis.
Upset in the King Cotton Stakes, 7-1 at post time. Bob's Edge, first time facing older horses, 4-year-old debut, emerges victorious in the 2022 King Cotton Stakes.
Larry Jones, always dangerous over at Oaklawn Park. 7-1 on the son of competitive edge. You know, I thought his last 2 efforts were good. He was a beaten favorite, but wired that day by county final, sometimes hard to make up ground while wide at Churchill Downs. And Luis Quinones, taking no prisoners, got this horse rolling around the turn, and I think that was key because sometimes he was being left with too much to do. And I mean, look at his win going back, his win prior to his last one. He was kept close that day, and this is a nice performance for his first start as a 4-year-old.
Here in New York, a nor'easter, a cyclone bomb, a bomb cyclone, 8 inches of snow last night. We're a little bit short-staffed, so we can't queue up the start for you right away. If we have a chance, we'll show you what happened at the start of this King Cotton Stakes, but we can tell you that it was not the start Team Nashville was hoping for.
No, it wasn't. And just thank you to the crew who did make it out here today to be able to put this show on with us here. But yes, we'll have to. We are at the mercy of the Oaklawn feed at the moment. So I didn't really see what necessarily happened, Lafitte. It just looked like a slow, tardy start. And so therefore he rushed up in between horses. I mean, he had a lot of ground to make up to get to the lead. And so therefore he really had no answer. Neither did Hollis. Hollis did not run particularly well either. We saw last time he tipped his hand, he broke on top actually, right until Nashville got to the lead at a few strides out of the gate. But Bob's Edge, and then as we were in the break and watching Cipriano Contreras' horse in here, Home Base, he was warming up so well. He looked like a dressage horse out there, and he was able to run second at 27-1.
27-1. He had a shot down on the inside, turning for Home Base. Bob's Edge, though, a 7-3-9-8 Oaklawn. You saw the cowboy hat. Saw the cowboy hat, yeah. Larry Jones here had Bob's Edge poised and ready to roll. You felt like those 5.5 furlong races were too sharp, too short for Bob's Edge. A little more real estate to work with today. Again, first time facing older. He was stakes placed at Oaklawn last year, and in his first start as a 4-year-old takes down this King Cotton Stakes. And again, if we have the opportunity, we'll take back a look back at what happened at the very start with Nashville, who's usually so quick leaving the gate. Not the case on this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened to Nashville as
Look at the prices.
Steve Asmussen talking to Florent Giroux there. 7-1, 27-1, 14, and 61-1. That is one heck of a superfecta. The two favorites completely out of the top four.
So at 7-1, it is Bob's edge in the King Cotton Stakes. 7, 3, 9, 8 results when we come back. And one left at Oaklawn as our coverage continues on Fox Sports 2. You're watching America's Day at the Races. Bob's edge victorious in the King Cotton Stakes.
This is the horse.
Is just too good.
This is the horse who became only the second champion 2-year-old to win the Travers in 3 decades. This is the horse who is the only Breeders' Cup juvenile hero ever to lift the Belmont Stakes. History-making brilliance. That's his essential quality. Essential quality. This is the horse. Just imagine.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Coming up alongside of Ticonderoga, Good Samaritan won it.
And Good Samaritan has gone on by very easily.
Good Samaritan in his dirt debut, and he's gone by them all. Good Samaritan has won the Jim Dandy.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Been a fun day of thoroughbred racing here on America's Day at the Races. Great to have you with us. As always, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years doing the usual unusually well. Stare at those images all day long, Maggie.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Baby horses, nothing better. I saw that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just saw this great article about a foal who was rejected by his mother in England.
Story.
Oh my
Did
God,
you see
her grandam. Just stepping in as mother, and she was just pensioned this past year, so made your heart feel good.
That was a "I'm not crying, you're crying"
yes
moment. If you can find it on social media, watch it. It'll make your day. Great story.
Yeah, the Blood Horse has an article about it too.
This is a terrific story for trainer Larry Jones, Bob's Edge. Louis Quinones, 1660 home base for Cipriano Contreras at 27-1. He's going to be in a good mood watching his horses train from his truck tomorrow morning.
Well, Lafitte, this past week, whenever we've run a feature from Oaklawn, the horse has won.
It's the karma.
And I mean, they weren't as big a price as home base. And home base getting second, I mean, it's the newest angle in racing.
It's automatic.
Yeah.
Automatic. And Seven Nation Army came in with a prep this year, which he didn't last year when he finished second to Boulder in the King Cotton. Solid third place finish. Nashville, Tardy leaving the gate. Hollis not as effective as he was in his last start. And Bob's Edge takes full advantage. Maggie, one left. Good maiden special weight event here. Field of 12. And the current favorite 8-5 Quick to Blame with Florent Giroux aboard at 8-5. Your thoughts going into this one, Maggie?
I do think, Quick to Blame is quick. He has shown the ability to be forward. He was actually very headstrong while sitting off the pace setter and eventual winner in Call Me Jamal, who we didn't see run very well in the Southwest 2 races before. But Quick to Blame going out for strong connections in Brad Cox. There is other speed in here, Lafitte, but I do think that he didn't do himself any favors by being so headstrong in his last effort.
That's the 11th and final coming up next. at Oaklawn Park. For viewers just joining us, we'll recap some of the highlights this afternoon. It was the road to the Arkansas Derby continuing today at Oaklawn Park. The Southwest Stakes, another Derby prep at Oaklawn. Such a strong series. See how that Southwest unfolded about 45 minutes ago when America's Day at the Races continues.
We bought the Tappert filly out of Tisn't She Beautiful, and will be trained by Todd Pletcher. Extremely athletic, a lot like him. We're excited to see him on the track.
Beautiful filly. She's out of a graded stakes mare that ran early as a 2-year-old, so I like that quite a bit out of her. This filly looks like she's going to be super early and precocious. Very good muscled filly, just a lot to like about her.
Tappert, standing at Gainesway.
Gorgeous day at Hot Springs, Oaklawn Park. Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. King Cotton we saw moments ago, and about 30 minutes before that, the next step towards the Arkansas Derby at Oaklawn Park. It was the Southwest Stakes. We pick up the action coming off the far turn with all eyes on New Grange with John Velasquez, the undefeated colt shipping in from California for trainer Bob Baffert. This is right from the start here, Maggie. Towards the outside, yellow cap John Velasquez establishing position with New Grange with that short run to the first turn.
Well, it was like Johnny knew that he wasn't going to be able to get to the lead. I'm sure he was a little bit surprised when we saw the one not go to the lead too. But Kavad was basically running off on the front end, kind of had his mouth wide open, tongue looked to be over the bit.
And that's him in front.
Right, with the white blinkers. Finally, after being implored by John Velasquez for pretty much the 3/8 pull home, New Grange responded, gave it his all, finally put all the pieces together and grinded out the victory. The side story here, no show from the second choice Dash Attack, his first start over a fast track.
He was rendered ineffective. A big effort. Barbara Rhodes, second in the Smarty Jones, second in the Southwest. Gary Stevens, want to get your thoughts on New Grange and his performance this afternoon, his victory in the Southwest Stakes.
I thought he was impressive with his win, but what concerns me the most, I don't know if we'll see this horse back here for the Arkansas Derby, just for the fact that before I went to the interview with Johnny V, walking across the track with him before he weighed out, he said, Gary, he did not handle this racetrack. He didn't like it. He was swapping leads with me all the way down the backside. He said he just was not comfortable. So something to think about there, which opens the door for Barbara Road. He ran huge. I talked to Johnny Ortiz before I talked to Johnny Velasquez. He was super excited with his horse's trip and the way he finished up running. So I think that he's going to be a danger as well later on in the Rebel if that's where they decide to run him back.
Rebel Stakes, the next stop. Big points, 50 points to the winner there. Gary, what went on with Dash Attack? You had sat down with David Cohen pre-race. He was undefeated, win the Smarty Jones, both of his wins on wet tracks. What did you notice about Dash Attack this afternoon?
I haven't had a chance to really go back and review it. The replays here have been other horses at the time they showed the replay, so I haven't been able to go back over it. But I told you before the race I was concerned about the kickback. There were horses that handled the kickback. He was down inside the entire trip and maybe just did not like this racetrack the way it was. Maggie may have a point that, you know, he won both those races, his first 2 races on off racetracks. Maybe that's why he didn't run well today, because of the surface. This track has been really loose the last couple of days because they haven't been able to put water on it. We've had sub-freezing temperatures all week long, so they haven't been able to keep the water on it that they've wanted to. And the track was very firm before all this cold front came in. And it was firm, it was tight, horses were getting over it, and they're not getting over it as well as they had been before we got the deep freeze that came in, guys.
It's interesting, Gary, because some horses, we can be fooled. A horse can win so easily and look so good doing it. For whatever reasons, it can be an optical illusion. What does that tell you if Newgrange won today on a track that he wasn't necessarily comfortable over, but still managed to find a way to win? What does that tell you?
I think the interesting thing is everybody thinks California tracks fast, fast, fast. With the new protocols that they've put in, the Stronach Group and whatnot, with the racetracks, they've made their tracks deeper. So the tracks are slower. Horses come in from out of town in California. When they travel out of California, they come in very, very fit horses on most of these racetracks after training in Southern California. So I was impressed with him overcoming a track he didn't like today. But getting back to that, this track, Maggie's going to understand the term cuppy. It means that it's the cup of their foot. They're not getting a hold of the racetrack. They're just kind of spinning their wheels. And I expect that to change with the weather. When it starts warming up again, this track is going to go back to a little faster than what we've seen this past couple of days.
Something to monitor moving forward, Gary. The Rebel Stakes, again, the next stop en route to the Arkansas Derby. Cuppy track, Maggie.
And you know, it makes a lot of sense with what Gary's saying, because we see that here, Lafitte, when we can't put water on the racetrack. And with them out at Hot Springs, it's even more enhanced because they can't treat their racetrack either. I mean, obviously, we can treat it for freezing, for not having it freeze here. And what Gary's talking about, and I think, you know, I've heard, to give Richard McLeod credit here, him talk about this. It's like when you run on a beach and you run closer to the water's edge, it's packed down. And so that's when you get those tight, glib tracks, and horses are able to get a hold of it, much like you are able to get a hold of it a bit better and accelerate. Up running by the dunes, it's tough. There's not much water on there. It's not tight. That's kind of what a cuppy racetrack is like running over for these horses.
And maybe you're just joining us. This is a Kentucky Derby qualifier. There were 17 points available, 10 to the winner, but not to Newgrange because he's trained by Bob Baffert. 2-year suspension issued by Churchill Downs. Can't run horses at Churchill Properties, enter horses in the Kentucky Derby, or horses he trains can't earn Derby points. So Newgrange, no points for the win in the Southwest, and that's a story to monitor moving forward. What does this powerhouse ownership do with Newgrange moving forward if they feel they have a Derby prospect on their hands?
I mean, we'll just be clicking refresh on all the racing news websites to find out what these owners decide to do, because we don't want to speculate. But as you did bring up a good point, in that a lot of times we see trainer Rudolph Brissett have the same horses that Bob Baffert does for this same kind of partnership, and Rudy does have horses stabled. He has a string at Oaklawn, but then again, what Gary was saying, maybe they say, well, maybe he doesn't like Oaklawn as much, but then again, he maybe with more training over it, and maybe with a tighter, better weather, he'd be fine.
Uncharted territory, a tricky situation. There is going to be some speculating. And as far as the procedure itself, proceedings ongoing, again, February 7th, the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission, in terms of the situation with Bob Baffert and Medina Spirit a season ago after what looked like a 7th win in a Kentucky Derby. Riders up for the nightcap at Oaklawn.
Run Happy, the #1 second prop sire by graded stakes winners and earnings. Run Happy is represented by Smile Happy, the Kentucky Derby individual future pool favorite. A leading dirt sire, and now with an exciting Kentucky Derby hopeful. Call Bernie Sams now and book your mare to Eclipse champion Run Happy right now. Run Happy standing in stall 1 at Claiborne Farm.
America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
And on the morning of the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need to create the noblest of all creatures. So God made a racehorse. He needed a horse that is faster, smarter, sleeker, and sounder, so God made a racehorse. He created an animal sound of wind with oversized nostrils to breathe fire like a dragon and turn oxygen into rocket fuel. He gave it a kind eye so his caretaker could look into his soul. And then on the afternoon of the 8th day, God realized that he needed an animal that was even swifter, smarter, and sounder.
An animal that can compete on the world stage and win iconic races like at Royal Ascot.
So God created a legend. The legend lives on at Alapa.
Welcome back to Oaklawn Park. America's Day at the Races, as always, brought to you in part by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime at Naira Bets. Post-parade in progress. There's Quick to Blame, the favorite at 6-5.
Yeah, a horse that should show some good tactical early speed in here. Was a bit headstrong going on the backside. Did not do himself any favors as a beaten favorite last time.
Life of the Nile, 25-1, 3-year-old debut, number 6-7, flat for Ron Moquette.
Yeah, finally gets back on a fast track. Didn't seem as though he was loving the wet sealed track in his last start.
Contender here, number 7, 10 gauge for Steve Asmussen.
Oh, this is, horses are supposed to have broken their maiden by now for Steve Asmussen.
Mystical Curlin for Kenny McPeak, dash attack, kind of a no-show this afternoon.
Yeah, this horse is going to have to run faster. Does put blinkers on.
Number 9, Curly Tail, John Court.
Blinkers off. Good-looking son of Curlin here. It seems as though Dallas Stewart is struggling to figure out what this guy actually wants to do.
Martin Garcia, Mini Conju, 21-1.
Bothered at the start, never really cleared in the stretch, while running on hinted as a horse that wanted to go further.
Garcia won the Southwest 12 years ago with Conveyance. Mumayaz.
At times has run fast enough, but is stretching out. This son of Bodemeister, which he does have the pedigree to do so.
King Doodle, Giovanni Franco looking for a third win today.
Good for him. Good for Gary.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's going to be the fourth one. King Doodle.
Shocker. At 40-1. Good maiden race. 3-year-olds, purse $84,000.
We did miss the 3 inside horses in here, and I think number 3, Skate to Heaven for Robertina Diodoro, is very interesting, coming out of his last race in which he had considerable trouble. And 2, in his debut, which I think was the first day I've missed of Saratoga racing in quite a long time. So I wasn't there for his debut.
When you were at the wedding?
Yes. But he was 16-1 for Robertina Diodoro, whose horses really never get bet behind My Prankster. And he was steady back at the start, went 5 wide into the first turn. The winner got the jump. He was blocked pretty much the entire stretch until he got a little seam within the 16th pole and really ran on. I think he's going to build upon that effort for his second start off the bench.
Slacker, Maggie.
I know.
Slacker. Missing
God
days
forbid.
at Saratoga. Gary, what about 10 gauge here? Is today the day he finally graduate in that in his 7th career start?
I don't know. I couldn't really find an excuse for him the last time that he ran. I know that Steve wanted him closer to the pace than what he was, so I'd look for Ricardo Santana to be pretty aggressive with him leaving there, trying to get him closer to the lead. He didn't show a lot in his last race. He just kind of ran flat. He's going to have to pick up the pace today, but I'm going to give you a long shot here. Horse that I like a little bit, and that's the horse that my rider, Tiago Pereira, rides for Jerry Hollendorfer. Life on the Nile. He's only speed in this race. He's been training outstanding, and he's 25-1 right now. So why not? Let's go out with a bang, guys.
Gary, congrats with Franco. You're represented by 2 jockeys at Oaklawn, Tiago Pereira and Franco, Giovanni Franco, 2 wins today. How are you juggling the 2 riders, the broadcasting in the afternoon? How are you enjoying it out there this winter at Oaklawn?
I'll tell you what, I'm loving my time out here. The cold, it's been, tough to navigate here the last few mornings, but got the Carhartt jacket on and the stocking cap going and keep myself warm. I know Maggie, she spends all that time in the paddock there at Aqueduct, the wind blowing and whatnot. So Maggie, I'm putting my time in the mornings, and I'm here by myself. My wife and daughter, Angie and Maddie, they're back in Los Angeles, and I'm flying home tomorrow night to go spend some days with them, along with Tiago, to see his wife. But I'll tell you what, I'm busy. I'm sleeping well. I'm eating fine, drinking fine, and staying out of trouble with all the time that I'm putting in.
He is a busy man. And Gary, we appreciate everything you do for us on the show. And yes, I'll send you some winter clothing. I have plenty of it.
Safe trip home, Gary. Enjoy the family. Great stuff. Couple of wins today with Giovanni Franco, and he said, "Look out, Life of the Nile with Tiger Parade."
I agree with him. This horse, now, as far as pedigree, Pioneer of the Nile, fine, very, his progeny seemed to do whatever. The dam was a multiple Grade 1 winner going long, though, on the synthetic. This horse weirdly is bred a little bit more for turf, possibly, but at least there's the pedigree to say that this guy can go longer. And Jerry Hollendorfer actually has decent numbers going, trying a route for the first time on the dirt with his maidens. He's 8 for 41, 20%, not bad. I agree with him. I think this horse has a live long shot look.
23-1, number 5, Life of the Nile. Quick to Blame, though the favorite is 6-5. They've reached the starting gate. They'll circle about. You wound up with?
This is the first time today you're asking me for a pick?
Yeah, pretty much.
I do. I like, oh gosh, David Cohen's horse in here. Oh no, sorry, Ramon Vasquez takes over, which I don't blame Connections for taking David off. It was an interesting ride, Skate to Heaven. I also thought Going to the Show, who is taking money, just looks like a beautiful son of Medaglia d'Oro, and was beaten by Dash Attack in that debut. Broke slow, really ran on well through the lane. You just kind of got a little bit lost. So I think with the experience, already has run long in that debut, fast track. It's kind of a little bit of 1-3 for me. But we'll see. The favorite has the credentials to definitely win here.
Better late than never. 1-3, says Maggie here, going to the show. Skate to Heaven, 6-5 favorite, Quick to Blame. Final race of the show, right back at it tomorrow afternoon, 3.5 hours on FS2, 3 to 6:30 Eastern. And Aqueduct is already canceled. No Aqueduct racing. It's Oaklawn. It's Sam Houston. Sam Houston, big night of racing. 6 stakes races, 2 graded. You'll see 4 from here on America's Day at the Races.
You might not see me, but...
Not here tomorrow.
We'll see. Mr. Migliore, if he can get down here, he will be here. And it is a great lineup of racing. I really enjoy having those Sam Houston races on.
Looking forward to that coverage tomorrow evening. Join us right here on FS2. And best of luck in this 11th and final. It is post time to wind things down on Southwest Stakes Saturday from Oaklawn. One final time. Here's Vic Stauffer, Quick to Blame, the favorite at post time.
They're at the post. They're off. Mumayas breaks well, so does Quick to Blame and Life on the Nile. 10 gauge asks for speed. Going to the show is next. 7 flats is Rankin on heels. Then comes Skate to Heaven, followed by Mini Conjou and King Doodle. Then towards the back of the pack are Mystical Curlin and Curly Tail, and a terrible start has Ethereal Road at the back of the pack. Quick to Blame and Life on the Nile to the backstretch. Quick to Blame ahead in front. Life on the Nile is second by a length and a half to a sharp-looking Going to the Show in third. Mumayas is fourth and 2 from the front. Then comes Skate to Heaven, fifth with 4 lengths to make up. 10 Gauge is sixth. He's got 5 to close. Then comes Mini Conjou, Mystical Curlin, and 7 Flat. All about 6 from the lead. Curly Tail has 8 lengths to make up. King Doodle, and still desperately last is Ethereal Road past the half-mile pole, and it is still Quick to Blame and Life on the Nile. Quick to Blame ahead in front. Life on the Nile is second. Skate to Heaven runs up outside of Mumayas, and Going to the Show stays at the rail. Top 5 separated by 2 lengths. 10 Gauge is sixth. He's only 3 behind. Then Mini Conjou, Mystical Curlin, and Curly Tail. Ethereal Road, after that terrible start and trailing, is passing horses with every stride. Here's Ethereal Road. He's got up to mid-pack and could actually get a piece of this purse. If he does, it'll be a giant effort. Top of the stretch, and Life on the Nile is the lead from Quick to Blame in second. 3 back, 2 Going to the Show. Here comes Ethereal Road in the center of the racetrack, and he's going to get a heck of a lot more than a big piece. He's going to get it all. Look at this run. Ethereal Road stood there at the start. He was 10 back at the half-mile pole, and he crushes. Wow, 2 wins for the coach. Ethereal Road won by 4. Quick to Blame second, Going to the Show third, Curly Tail fourth.
The coach, Dwayne Lucas, victory in the Martha Washington, Secret Oath, victory here. Ethereal Road, wiped out at the start, didn't break, so far back, and wins going away.
And he was the only horse to make up any ground, and a ton of ground, because the pace held together here, Lafitte. I mean, we saw a good effort from Gary's long shot, number 5, Life on the Nile. Quick to Blame, he was there the whole way, didn't switch leads. This horse just circled the entire field, and at the start, he never gets away that cleanly, but he stood there, and then his first step was to his face. So he was well back.
It was awesome.
Impressive.
An exciting maiden race for Louis Contreras, who just pulled off the minor upset, Bob's Edge, in the King Cotton Stakes, sweeps a late double. And how wide was he on the far turn?
Look, he kind of caught my eye, not to redboard here, but he caught my eye in the paddock. But coach's horses always look fantastic, so I'm always just like, okay, whatever. But wow, this horse ran. That's a huge step up, because he was a well beaten, but also a well clear third in his last effort. But it was a muddy sealed track, and I just feel like he's this big son, possibly, of Quality Road, as we were talking about with fact finding earlier. Sometimes it just takes a couple starts to put it all together, and boy, did he put it together today. What a way to end the show.
You're thinking that was exciting. And you're thinking, well, maybe he'll make a late run. Like, maybe he'll hit the board, and what an incredible effort. He wins by daylight.
Going away. Look at him. He's a good, as we watch the feed, good-looking son of Quality Road.
Exciting stuff. Ethereal Road. Maggie, absolute blast. Really enjoyed it. To the crew, thanks so much for coming in today. And difficult with all the snow overnight. No such problems at Oaklawn Park. Beautiful day. And for New Grange, and for that powerhouse ownership, Johnny Velasquez in those starlight colors. New Grange, he had to grind his way to victory. Velasquez encouraging him to pick it up early, but in the end, he had the answer. He remains undefeated. Now a 2-time stakes winner, takes down the Sham and the Southwest Stakes. New Grange at Oaklawn. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.